what's up, guys? How are y'all doing on this fabulous Monday? My name is Turmentic. This here is Ian from Cryptid Nation News, also known as Cardboard and Coffee. We are currently waiting on Harley from EpicTube to join us. He is getting home from a soccer game with Epic Ethan, but we wanted to start and just say hi, see what you guys are up to. If you have any questions in there, I mean, there's always MetaZoo stuff to talk about. So welcome to, I guess, our third actual real show. It's kind of cool.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I know, right? So yeah, like I said, my name's Turmentic, and huge first thing they dropped. Let's just start off right now, real quick. We're waiting for Harley to talk about the streamer kits, because I'm absolutely in love with the idea of the streamer kits, because especially if they're on the relative cheaper side, because it gives so like we're very vocal about new content creators and content creators. We encourage you to just create the content. And this is literally a little box of like, this is awesome stuff. Use this to make videos, get a following. I love the idea. It reminded me a lot of, there was a video that Pokemenace actually put up in the Discord the other day, which was how to find more people in the MetaZoo community to actually search or to follow on YouTube. And he actually showed how to go to YouTube, type in MetaZoo, and then change the search options to recently uploaded. And you can see all of the different content creators that have just started out the last couple of weeks, the last month or so. And so I'm so excited for the streamer kits. I'm so excited for them.
Yeah, those drop on Friday, probably at noon. I don't think they give us a time, but it's almost always noon Eastern time. So looking forward to that. I'm hoping there's some different options size-wise, because like, you know, for me, I don't need a lot, right? But somebody that's doing, say, Whatnot or Drip or Whatnot, you know, they're going to do more. They could just buy multiple kits, I guess. Theoretically, but I'm excited to see what's in it.
Sorry, this is because of the casters and cryptid stuff that we're doing next weekend, the MetaZoo tabletop RPG. I'm testing out streaming on Twitch, so this is actually the first episode that we've done where I'm streaming on YouTube, on Twitch, and MetaZoo Island Facebook page simultaneously. For this. So just for anybody that clicks on this after the fact, this is Let's Talk MetaZoo. It's pretty much just casters getting around, talking about MetaZoo, talking about content creation, talking about why they enjoy doing the things they do, trying to highlight some people from the MetaZoo community, because there's so many amazing, and not even just content creators, individual collectors, players. There's so many amazing people in this community. So that's what this whole thing is, just try to highlight some of them. So welcome. We do this every Monday. I guess we're doing it every Monday now. Originally, it was only supposed to be like a one-time thing, but usually do it around Monday between 9:30 or 10:30 or so. So welcome to Let's Talk MetaZoo. I should have done that intro at the beginning. You know, we're still getting used to this. Oh, and by the way, it's been brought to my attention as well too that this is a Pepsi can. I've been drinking soda when we actually do these. All right, Pepsi. See, Pepsi. Yes. Some people didn't realize that it was Pepsi. So Pepsi, I would like a sponsorship, please. Please send me Pepsi. So anyway, how's everybody in the chat? Let me actually see who we actually have here. Mario, how you doing tonight? We have Dean. Justice is here. Ghost Train, awesome. MetaZoo, Wayward Caster, Cutthroat. Yeah, man, awesome. Welcome here. Welcome. Like I said, we're still waiting for EpicTube. What fantastic little news drops do you have for us, Ann? Give us a fantastic little.
The big one was the streamer kit. That's the most recent since I've done kind of the news updates. But you know, I'm excited to. I don't know if you watched the episode of Cryptid Conversations that dropped today, where we kind of discussed the errata and whatnot. But the Dampen and the Hermit errata really kind of changed my perspective on how those cards are meant to be played, because they added the wording in the resolution chain to Dampen, for instance, right? So before, like, I was like, okay, well, you know, when you think of playing Dampen, you're usually reacting to the direct spell that was played, right? So,
yeah,
you know, you play New Year's New Beginnings, I play Dampen, cool. But when you think of it as in the resolution chain, you could get, you know, 4 or 5 levels deep, and then you could dampen something that's at, let's say, the second level, with that.
There
working.
was the article that we just posted on the archives. Shout out MetaZoo archives. I believe Cutthroat was the one that actually put that on there. He was talking specifically about how the stack works, which I'll be honest, I feel like I'm pretty savvy when it comes to how to play MetaZoo, but I did not realize that at first, how that operate, like, because you could play like you said, you could play dampen, and then it's just the way, it's interesting how that actually works.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, and it goes kind of hand in hand with some of the other priority nuances that you have, like with Slide Rock Bolter, how you want to be using Slide Rock Bolter's power first, so you don't give your opponent the chance to have priority to put the stone on. Right.
Okay,
So no matter what you're doing, like if you were just kind of going through the motions and gave them priority, they could put the stone on. It doesn't matter what they're reacting to, just because the priority passed, they can do that. So it's kind of similar to that, where you're not really thinking, well, rather, I am thinking more of reacting to the most recent thing, not necessarily everything I could do in the arena. So it's really interesting to get that wording change.
all right. Oh, well, Epic is here. I see him now. Let me add him here.
Awesome.
By the way, yeah, everybody check out that article from the MetaZoo archives. You can find it on Instagram, all sorts of stuff, because like I said, the way that he actually broke down how some of the specific cards work was awesome. Welcome, Harley. How are you this evening? How was Epic Ethan's game? Oh no, I can't hear you.
Can you hear him?
I can't hear you.
Oh no. But he looks so happy.
I know, he looks so happy.
You guys got me now?
There we go.
Dude, welcome.
There we go.
I love the hair, by the way.
Dude, it's cold out there. I had a wool hat on, and I just threw everything off because I literally just ran from the car into the house. So with my Chick-fil-A.
Nice.
What's going on, everyone?
We were just talking about the streamer kits real quick while we were waiting for you to get home from Epic Ethan's game. Welcome though, for everybody that joined us. This is Harley from EpicTubeHD, longtime content creator. He covers all sorts of MetaZoo events. I love his MetaZoo coverage of the cons. I think they're some of the best videos put together. He does a really good job of showing some of the new content. He's a great guy. So you, my friend, always are the ones that are actually asking the questions though. So tonight I wanted to get the opportunity to ask you questions to find out who you are. Because you do so much for the community. You're active in so many different ways, showing off the different things. Like, watched his New York Comic-Con video. I kid you not. It's a masterpiece of editing. But yeah,
always been impressive.
I had fun.
It's just your ability to your editing skills are off the chain.
And you're doing all that yourself, right? You're not shipping that out. You're not having anyone help you with the editing.
No,
that's
I do everything myself.
Your time. Yeah.
You fly the drone and everything and get all the footage, don't you?
Yep, I do all the drone footage and all the camera footage. Well, my son helped me in New York for New York Comic-Con, but otherwise, yeah, it's just usually me doing it all, trying.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So yeah. Anyway, welcome. Like I said, I'm really excited about this. And I'm gonna kind of probably I don't know when you actually. I'm really interested in this first question.
All right.
What originally got you into TCG and card games in general? Whether this was as an adult or a kid?
Well, for me, it's kind of like twofold. So I was growing up as a kid, I was a hockey and baseball, football collector of cards. And but then, once like life got involved, I kind of put that off to the side a bit. And then as I grew up and went through things and all that fun stuff, I somehow found my way back in 1999. I got back into Pokemon. It was just kind of randomly. It was also through with my daughter, technically my stepdaughter. She really liked the Pokemon series and stuff like that. So I said, well, let's go get some cards. And we used to go to up in New York in Valley Stream. We'd go out to the Toys R Us there, and oh man, what else one of the stores that closed down. We used to go there all the time. I forgot, Kmart. We used to go to Kmart. Yeah, and just started getting into Pokemon. And then after 2000, just kind of dipped back out again because we just started doing a lot of other things. And then in 2015, with my second kind of like family of kids, well, it's the same family, but we kind of like redid it all over again with my boys. They got into Pokemon on their own, so we used to go to make the trips to Toys R Us to get Pokemon stuff. And then it wasn't until we went to Japan in 2019, because we've been vlogging since 2009, but we did like travel vlogs. So when we were in Japan, we just came with the idea, well, why don't we vlog like Pokemoning and stuff? So we just started doing it from there, and then got into it. And now it's funny because the boys kind of dipped out, left me on my own, and yeah, that's where we're here today.
Well, it's kind of cool that you actually talked about that, because I wanted to ask you what made you originally want to start the channel, and like what tell me about like what originally drew you to start making a YouTube channel to make content.
Well, going all the way back to 1999, 2000. So I had a pretty fun life before all that stuff happened, but then I decided after I got hurt for the billionth time, I needed a real job. So I applied at an airline, got hired, and once I started working for an airline, I started, wow, I can travel? Like, doesn't cost me any money to do that? They're like, yeah, you just got to pay when you get there. So I started traveling the world and doing all kinds of fun stuff. And I actually started vlogging back in 99, 2000 on the micro DVD, CD type camcorders. So I'd go like B&H Photo on 34th Street in New York, and I'd buy these cameras, and we'd go traveling on these, adventures. My wife, who was then my girlfriend, and I'd be vlogging, but nobody gave a crap about vlogging or that stuff back then. So there was nothing for me to do with that stuff, and that's how I originally started doing it.
So you started YouTube in 2009, you said?
Yeah, it was 2009. We have 3 channels. I think 3 channels. So the one you guys know is EpicTube. The original name was, I love the name. So my sons had nicknames because my oldest one's a comedian. So he always liked, for some reason, his like your whatever you call yourself, like EpicTubeHD or Turmentic, right? He was called Banana Boy as a joke. And then
that's great. No, that's great. I'm not lying.
Yeah.
That's so catchy. Like for YouTube, that's brilliant. Like that's brilliant for things. That's that's good.
Yeah. So, and then it was kind of funny because and Ethan, we were like, we'll just call you Epic Ethan, because he did something one time. We thought, we were like, oh, bro, that's epic. So then we're like, well, what can we call our channel name? Because like I said, I have my own, and I said, we'll start a new channel up, and we'll call it The Epic Adventures of Banana Boy and Epic Ethan, which was I love the name.
That's again, that's a great
That's amazing
name.
But when you got to tell people what the name is, they're like, what? And they're like, yeah, we want to know your YouTube channel. I'll never forget, we were in California during 4th of July. We were in San Diego, and we took the kids to the zoo and Legoland there. And everybody, we're very open. I'm walking around with a giant camera. This was like before the Casey Neistat days and people doing all that stuff. And everyone was like, what are you doing with this giant camera? Oh, I'm filming us and stuff. And so they go, oh, what's your YouTube channel name? And then we tell them, and they would just immediately like, what? So I told the boys, I'm like, guys, I think we have to change the name of the channel because nobody can remember it. Nobody gets it. So yeah, that's how that came about.
I hope you created a different channel and you didn't just change the name of the channel, because somebody's going to go and get that. That name is brilliant. And you need to find somebody to make it like animated shorts of
I don't know. Once we create it, is it still art?
Ethan, like that screams Adventure Time to me, man. Like,
yeah, and We thought it did too. Just nobody could remember it.
Oh my god, it's so
all right.
good. It's so good.
It's all right. It happens.
Merchandising. And see the t-shirts and everything. Like, oh, it's so good.
I know, right? I had a ton of ideas. Trust me, ton of ideas.
So what was the what?
What? No, go ahead.
What was the name of the second iteration of the channel?
Well, EpicTubeHD is the second iteration.
Oh, okay.
But I had my own personal channel.
Okay.
I had my own personal. I have two other channels that I started for myself. One was like to go along with my acting world, where I was going to put shorts and monologues and a bunch of stuff on it. Yeah, cats be flying around this place.
Didn't even phase you. You're just like, okay, cool. It's a cat.
Yeah. So so I have that
streams before, man.
Yeah, he's the one that loves to come up here. Yeah, but it's been like I said, the other channel basically I don't do anything with it because I haven't really needed to do anything with it. And then my other channel is just where I've kind of like the original one that I never did anything on it, but just used it to go watch YouTube with. I don't even know if I still remember the login to that one, but those I know at least 3 that I know I have. And then now the kids, they started their own channels too up. So again, so it's like all these different channels. So I don't know.
That's awesome.
It's crazy.
I didn't realize you've been doing it for so long. So you're very seasoned in this world of creating content, of editing, and all of that.
Yeah. I mean, streaming is still
awesome.
relatively new. I'm like 2 years into what I think I started streaming in 2020, 21, trying to stream, but more or less, yeah. I mean, we've been doing this type of thing for a while. So
that's awesome.
I like making content. I love taking time to edit, make things fun and stuff. So the whole goal was to eventually make an indie film and do shorts with my acting buddies. But a couple of them left to LA and the other ones, they're just not in it. They're not doing it now. So it's like, okay, well, I got nothing to do left. So I try to make fun when I can.
No, I feel that because actually I created my account back in like 2007 and we made a short film for a horror film festival here on the Outer Banks in like 3 days. And I shot it all on my phone and edited it and everything like that.
48-hour film festival?
It was down here on the Outer Banks back in 2016, I think. And they were doing really good up until the pandemic. The pandemic kind of like put a hold on a lot of festivals and stuff down here, but they're slowly coming back.
Same.
But we filmed it on my phone, and one of the whole reasons I actually even brought the channel back up, because I never used YouTube, to be honest with you, was to post it on there. So like hidden in my channel somewhere is that like 24-minute short film shot on my phone. Oh, God,
everyone's gonna go find that now.
Good luck, friend.
I'm gonna write it down. I need to. This is in my notes now.
Oh my God, no. So did you actually go to school for editing or for any of the things that you actually use on the channel? Did you go to school for theater or film or anything?
Well, I didn't go to school like officially for theater film. I kind of started going when I was going to go play hockey in college. My idea was going to go in for sports medicine and stuff, but I ended up dropping out and going a different route for hockey reasons. But as far as like TV and film goes, my very first training was, I want to say it was 1994 or 95. It was a girl I was dating at the time, convinced me to go with her to an actor/model place where they did training and all that stuff. And I went with her, and of course they got me in the door, and they were like, well, they actually ended up wanting me almost more than her, to be truthful, at the time, because they needed more guys. They had tons of girls. So yeah, I started then just doing like ads, modeling type ads and small little commercials this was in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Okay. And that's how I originally got started in that. but I'm not like classically trained or anything. I've taken some Meisner class. I've taken an Adler class. Let's see what else. Here, where I'm living now, I trained with an actor. A lot of people know who he is. If you remember the old TV show Baywatch, not the remake one, the old one. So one of the actors on there, he was one of the main actors. He actually was my acting coach for like the last 3 years. Well, not these past 3 years, but for 3 years straight.
If you tell
he
me
was my last coach
right now, I'm going to lose my mind.
Oh no.
Oh my god, I was about to flip my entire table over.
No, not the Hoff, not the Hoff. The last thing he's doing is teaching anybody anything, I'm sure, other than German.
Oh god, I almost lost my damn mind.
Greg Allen Williams, who played he was the boss over Hasselhoff in the show.
Okay.
Yeah, I often kind of refer to him, and no one take this the wrong way, but I mean, because it's the truth, but he really was like the only black guy in the show at the time, I believe. So he's often referred to as like the only black guy in the show. That's how everyone kind of like knows it. Because when you say his name, but when you pull up his credit list, then everybody goes, oh yeah, I know who that guy is now.
Well, I'll be honest with you. When you said his name, I wasn't familiar with his name, but as soon as you actually said Hasselhoff's boss, I was like, got that. But I'll be honest, though, when it comes to old shows like that, I don't remember people's names in it. I just remember faces, because those are the old shows that we kind of grew up with. I mean, being like mid to late 30s or so. I mean, yeah, those are the shows we grew up with. Or I grew up.
Yeah, looking up, I recognize him now that I see him, but
anybody else's name though besides Hasselhoff.
Yeah, you'd see him in different. Once you see him, you'll like, and then you see the credits he has in the TV shows, the films he's done. Then you're like, he's I guess he's considered like a C-list actor, maybe a B-list, but he was my coach for quite a while, and then I was with an agency. He started an agency. He wanted me to come into his agency to help him get it going, so I did that all that fun stuff. But I'm not like actually classically trained or anything like that when it comes to editing. Nah, I just picked it all up for myself. Just do it all myself. You know, you learn on the go. Yeah.
No, that's super. I mean, because again, some of the stuff that you can do with your editing is like ridiculously impressive. So that's super awesome that you taught yourself in essence how to do it.
YouTube, baby. YouTube teaches you everything. You got to know something. Wait, hold on. Let me go YouTube that real quick.
Yeah, that's true. That's honestly, that's completely true. And that's one of the reasons I love this platform. And I know it gets a lot of grief sometimes, but I mean, YouTube is, in my opinion, just as like instrumental as like Wikipedia. And I know, again, people talk bad about Wikipedia a lot of times, but I mean, more often than not, there's actual information. I don't know. I'm very biased because, like I said, this is the first time I've actually streaming this to Twitch. Which, hello, I think there's like 2 people watching on Twitch. Welcome.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, it's everything's on YouTube. If you got to learn something, you pull it up. There's so many editors now that have put videos on there. I mean, I'm a big Peter McKinnon fan. Oh my God, there's so many. Like the best 3 are from Toronto, Canada, actually, that I watch. Absolutely great filmmakers, great editors, but a lot of the bigger ones do send it off now to get edited from real editing people who get paid to do it. So
yeah,
a little different.
I forgot what I was gonna say. I had a really cool thought, and I forgot it because I looked at Kelsey's comment real quick. What's your favorite role? This is actually a personal question for me. What is your favorite role that you've actually ever gotten to do in any of your acting stuff?
Man, some of it has actually been auditions have been my favorite, but I didn't get the roles on those. But a favorite role, man, I'd have to say in Jason. Well, no, not that one. I would say Walking Dead. I mean, even though you guys only see 2 seconds of me in it, but as much as I filmed of it was just the experience will always be with me for the rest of my life. The experience was unreal, and getting to work on set with some of those guys was pretty freaking crazy. I
had no clue that you have to tell you have to, when this is done, or you tell me now. I need to know what episode this is. I need to I don't care if it's 30 seconds or 2. I need to see you on. That's so cool. I had no clue.
So I filmed season 4, episodes 2, and we filmed episode 3. And basically I'm in the prison, and I was one of the prison group, and a lot of things got changed around. I thought I was gonna get a much bigger role, ended up getting cut way down. Then the director actually really liked me, so then we talked about some stuff, and I have a lot of photos that I've kind of been starting to, because now the show's dead, I can officially start talking about it. So I have a lot of photos on my phone that because people go like, oh, but
what you're telling me is this is an exclusive.
Well, yeah, you're the first people I've said it, other on my channel, of course, but no one listens to my channel, so it doesn't go anywhere. I'm not worried.
That's not true.
But
that's not true at all. Lies and slander. Everyone watches. But I go into your live streams, you got 35, 40 people. You be quiet.
But yeah, but it's that was my favorite that I've ever been on, for sure. Then I did a movie called Flight that had Denzel Washington in it. I've been cut from quite a bit of things. It happens a lot in the acting world. So you can book roles, and you can film it all. It doesn't come out. You don't get the credit for it, which sucks. You get the payday, but you don't get credit for it. But the coolest thing was being on set a Flight with Denzel Washington. And we were at Turner Field in Atlanta, Georgia, and we were using the offices in the field at the Braves Stadium. This is before they moved to their new stadium. And if you guys don't know, Flight was about Denzel Washington flying a plane. It had an accident. He's a drunk, and the plane gets flipped upside down. I was going to be the engineer on the flight. I ended up sitting there all day watching them shoot, and it said everything gets changed on the fly. I never got used. And then they were going to bring me in for the board meeting. And one of the coolest things in the board meeting was I got into it with Denzel Washington in front of everybody, but we didn't get into it in a bad way. It was in a funny way that he started. And I almost got kicked off set because they thought I started something with Denzel Washington. It's crazy. It was a crazy, because he was looking around at everybody, because we were all just chilling, waiting for them to set everything up inside the conference area. And we were all just chilling, waiting in the lobby area. And he was just sitting there, and he was just looking around everybody. And he just started looking at like everybody that was there and goes like, how you doing? He was just messing around like, how you doing? Like that. And I'm over here by myself, just chilling. Cause I know on set, you don't want to bother anybody, because, everybody's thinking about what's got to happen, what they're going to do. You're trying to stay in the moment, things like that. And he just saw me over there, and he just stared at me for a second. I guess he was like, I don't want to leave anybody out. And he says this out loud. He goes like, how are you doing? And he's looked at me. And I was like, well, I don't want to give him the same answer back that everyone else did. So I said something else back to him. Well, it was a funny thing though. And he caught it. And so we started a little thing going. And then, one of the ADs was like, are you pissing off Denzel? What's going on in here? Like, it was like serious, man. I was like, and then he had to tell them to calm down and relax. Like, no, he's cool. He's cool. Because I just asked him how he's doing, man. He's good. So yeah, that was a weird day. That was fun.
Again, as far as set right here,
as far as roles go, it's not. All the little stuff I've done is little minor things that don't get. A lot of it's been cut. I shot a TV show in New York right before COVID hit in February. I was actually the lead actor in the show, the lead the detective on the show.
Oh, cool.
That was probably my best moment as an actor, because I actually got cast as the lead. So, which is pretty cool, because normally I'm just we call it day player in the film world, or a co-star in the acting world, which basically means you could have one line to maybe a couple pages of dialogue or something. That's about it.
Sometimes it's a good payday. Sometimes it's like, yeah, okay. But you're right. I mean, a lot of times you don't even get residuals from things like that. If you're more of a day,
gotta be in it.
If you're more of a day player where you actually have a page or two of actual dialogue back and forth, maybe. But just for one line, you don't really get royalties for that.
Oh, my best friend shot on Cobra Kai for 2 weeks. He had a great role. He was so pumped for it. I drove him to the audition, and I remember when he got it. And he shot for 2 weeks. They didn't use a single ounce of the time they shot. And he had a good role. You don't get none of that. You don't get any of the stuff. You don't get any of the residuals. You don't even get you can't even go into IMDb and technically put your name on there.
Well, you
'cause
can, but a
you're-
lot of times they it's not confirmed because
they
like
run it against the studios.
Yeah, well, because
Yeah.
the Bollywood film that I worked on, Vishwaparum, they actually, because of me tagging Vishwaparum as the little tiny thing I got to do with it, like on screen, they actually had to go and actually ask if the actual company that produced it, if I really did that or not. But so I don't know. IMDb is weird, to be honest with you. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I've done some stuff. I don't use IMDb because my thing is if I'm big enough to where people are gonna look me up on IMDb, then I honestly probably don't need IMDb, if that makes sense.
It's strange because, see, for years we've always known that IMDb is BS. Anybody can literally go in there and say I was on, any major TV show or whatever, and it would put you in there. And it was like that for many, many years. And then Amazon bought IMDb, and they've kind of cracked down a little bit, but it still can get through. So it's pretty tough. But for those that may want to see, so this was me in the makeup chair getting my makeup done on Walking Dead. And you can't really see it that well. My
So your
camera's not
character
going to
ended
zoom
up,
in too well on it.
Ended up well.
Yeah, well, like I said, what happened was they actually they made different plans for me, and I was like, I'm gonna get to come back. There was me on flight. Let's see, I'm in the I'm in full uniform on set. I'm in the again, I sat there all day in that chair and did nothing but watch one of the greatest actors in Hollywood, which was freaking epic. And then we ate filet mignon, which was awesome.
Oh yeah, you did very well on set.
Yeah,
if you're part of A team, or even hell, if you're part of B team,
yeah,
you did very, very, very well on set.
This was me in the movie 42. There's the Jackie Robinson
awesome.
story. And you can't really see it too well. Can't really see it too well. But yeah, I was on one of the Fast and Furious shows, believe it or not. I was in Fast 8. I played a German police officer with a beard. I got my beard. That's when I had a beard. That was what's his name's trailer right there. What's the guy who plays Dom? I forgot.
Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel. That was Vin Diesel's trailer. It actually raises up to a second level, which is pretty crazy.
Awesome.
Then we have the car.
Fancy.
We have the. That was my uniform. Let's see.
That's awesome.
I also drive. I do stunts. Well, we call it precision driving, which really isn't a stunt. But there's the silver car that's really known for some of the movies, all bullet ridden and stuff. Some behind the scenes things like that. So
I didn't know anything about this, and like you and I are friends.
Either.
You didn't even tell me anything about this. Is
awesome.
That's
the
right.
That's the TV show I shot in New York right before COVID. That's somebody got a shot of me there. What's funny? I'll tell you what's
ever going to happen with that TV show.
Yeah, it came out. It's called. Oh crap! Homicide something. Homicide. What was it?
I need to know that name now, so I can go watch it.
Is it on IMDb?
It's Homicide. Yeah, it's on IMDb. Guys, I can't even remember what I've done anymore. I mean, I'm not like a hardcore working actor by any means, but
Harley from EpicTubeHD, man.
I cannot remember.
Many talents over here.
Oh, Homicide City. It was called Homicide City. And it is on
taking notes.
Yeah, it's on TV. But the craziest thing that yeah, you can have a watch party. But the funniest thing that I ever did, the thing that gets me most recognized by people, because a lot of people watch those daytime like law TV shows, like like Judge Judy and all that stuff, right? So I did one, and it was called Personal TV Court. And so I played the father of my daughter who was playing on a playground at the apartment complex, and the daughter fell and broke her arm. So I'm suing the apartment complex. That gets me more because it gets replayed all the time. It's on national TV. It's always seen by all these people. So I get all these like older people that watch that stuff go, aren't you the guy that was suing the so-and-so about? I'm like, yeah, that's me.
And
so are all of those scripted?
Those are fake?
Are all of them scripted?
I've never actually known.
Yeah.
Is this another
Like-
exclusive?
like
My
80
childhood right now. It's just being destroyed.
80% of that stuff is scripted.
No.
Yeah, 80%. But the
Oh.
stories are real. The stories are actually
Okay.
real, though. Yeah. So this, like the story I did, actually did happen to somebody, but I have to play it off as like me. But
So it's like,
it is
Grey's Anatomy.
Oh wait, so
in a
time out.
sense.
Do they actually give you like a breakdown of the character? Like you got to be angry.
Oh,
She
yeah.
did this when she was 11. She
Let me
stole
tell
the
you,
dog. And
the hardest thing I've ever done was this project. They called me. I mean, like we were out shopping, and I'd get a phone call from the AD, like, hey, I want to go over the lines with you. And like, I had a huge script. I mean, it's got to go like what, 20, 30 minutes.
yeah.
I think it was 30 minutes. So I had a huge script. They wanted it completely memorized off book, like you would do a play. And I don't
Jeez.
memorize at all very well. So like they were calling me daily. Like that's not something that happens in the acting world. Normally when you get the role, it's on you to do your job.
Yep.
They were like calling me every day. Like, how, we want to hear you go over it again. And then if I wasn't in the mood one time, we were literally like at Tanger Outlet Mall, and I got a phone call, and I'm going to answer it because it's them. And she wanted to go over with me while we were shopping. So I'm walking around shopping people, going over the, doing my lines with this lady on the phone. And everyone's just like, what's he doing? I'm
They think you're having a real conversation.
and she's directing me. She's directing me over the phone. And I'm like, so it's really strange that would ever happen, but it's never happened on like most shows because you're treated a lot different. Your professionalism is a lot different.
Mm-hmm.
So it was fun though. I did have a great time doing it though. So
That sounds fun. That does actually sound fun. Like you're playing this character. Oh man, dude, I had no idea.
You didn't know those shows were fake?
I had no idea that they were fake.
Everybody says that. Oh, I didn't know those were fake. Yeah, the majority are. I don't know if there's any ones like that. Here's another show. This is a TV film I did. Now this is like an SCP-esque film because it's got SCP in it, but it's also a horror film because we actually went out to the Georgia Glidestones, which are no more, by the way. They got blown up. If those people don't know that, the Georgia Guidestones got blown up a couple months back.
I read about that a couple months ago.
Yeah, so we filmed out there at the Guidestones, and we did stuff, and it was called Realm of Souls. You can find this online if anyone wants to give that crappy thing a watch. It was a terrible film, but that was the poster for it. But it went out on DVD. We did have a distributor pick it up and put it out on DVD, and you could find it in those red boxes, like in front of CVS's and Walgreens for a long time. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
All right, I'm gonna need you to send me that name too. I'm gonna have like a list of an entire like afternoon just to watch stuff to watch of yours.
Yeah, my split second of something, or like I said, I have so many pictures on my phone. It sucks that you don't come out a lot of stuff. It's like being, if you as an extra. Oh, I forgot. I also did I was Brittany Murphy's husband in the Brittany Murphy story. For the Brittany Murphy fans out there, that's supposed to be Brittany Murphy. That was our director. That was her mom. We shot this in Knoxville. That's me. You can't really see me, but that's on ID.
Okay.
Yeah, ID Network. You can find that online too. It was the Brittany Murphy story. I never smoke. I don't smoke.
I think my wife's grandmother watched that recently. She might know who you are.
Maybe 2018. Yeah, so I don't smoke or drink, for those that don't know that. And so they wanted me to smoke a cigar because I forgot her husband. Simon Monjack. So Simon Monjack smoked cigars. And they're like, yeah, we need you to smoke a cigar. I freaked out for a month trying to figure out, like, what am I going to do? I don't smoke. I don't know what I'm going to do. So I went to a local cigar shop and I said, hey, I need a beginner cigar. And I'm going to need probably 2 of them. And he's like, here, try these. And I didn't light it up. I'm not lighting it up now. I'm going to take it with me somewhere. He's like, oh, okay. So I took those with me to Knoxville, and they actually had a plethora of them for me to choose from. But I was like, well, I got these 2. They said it was supposed to be okay. They're like, okay. So they signed off on those that they were okay to use. And for the first time ever on camera, I smoked a cigar, and it was a surreal experience for me. I know a lot of people may not understand that experience, maybe, I don't know, but it was really strange for me because it was so weird to, first of all, do it at all, to do it in front of a whole bunch of people on camera while they're filming you, and they're telling you to puff away and get it to real. And the shot that came out of it was it's one of my favorite shots that I've ever had taken of me. I don't know if I have it here. This was the promo. That was the promo for it. I know you guys can really see. I know I can't mess with the focus on this camera very much, or it'll really screw up. But that was a promo.
I kind of see it, yeah.
But you can see me in one of the promos. I'm in this haze laughing with the cigar. It is such a cool ass. Oh my God, awesome. I love that. And I still have the cigar. I kept it, and I kept the lighter. They gave me one of them silver flip light. It's supposed to be really expensive, like a lighter. Yeah, they gave me one of those. So I still have those as my little, like, you take a little thing home with you once in a while.
Yeah. As a fellow actor, I completely get that. You always
memorabilia.
Something, yeah.
We'll call that memorabilia.
Okay, so all right, let me ask you the next question real quick, because it kind of pertains to what we were just talking about. Why do you enjoy making content? What is it about making content that drives you to keep moving forward?
I think I'm a creative person. I love art. I remember I applied to when I was in school. I applied to the Ringling School of Art and Design in Sarasota, Florida, because I wanted to work for Disney as an artist, and I just loved art. And the girl I was dating at the time was real big into art, like even bigger than I was. And so we were both real big into it. And then we went to Chicago for a couple of months. She actually went to Chicago for a couple months. I went there for a shorter time, where we took some art classes and stuff. And, I'm real into that creative stuff. Like when I travel, I'm one of those people, like, I like to go to the museums. Go to Paris, I go to the Louvre. You go to the Netherlands and Amsterdam, I want to go to, I'm thinking too much now. My brain is just going crazy on me. But anyways, there's so many great artists, and I just got to go there. I even traveled to the south of Nice south of France to Nice to go to the was it Montis? I think it's Montis. I can't remember for sure now. It's been so long. But like behind here, right, this wall right here, I have like tons of art books and stuff. So I really love art.
Now, I'm not a very good working for the airline.
This is before that, actually. Well, the traveling overseas was, but I was always into art before that.
Okay, nice.
And then I always just like, growing up playing sports. Again, I grew up as an athlete, and that was my main thing. And I always loved being, I don't know, something about creating and doing fun things and making it myself and all that fun stuff. It's always been there. I don't know.
Awesome. Somebody, the Mothhawk wanted to know what MetaZoo character or cryptid would you want to voice the most?
Well, because of my age, I would say the character that you want to voice, but that's not because of my age, M. But I think but I have a whiny voice. I have my voice, is much more. Even though I'm older, I just have that whiny style voice. So I always think of like Adam Ackler is who I always like, come on, Sam, let's go. Come on. You gotta get off the field right now. I just hit another home run. We won the game. I just think that's in my head. That's how I hear Adam Ackler talking, like a high pitched voice when I think of the like Harry Potter glasses and stuff. Yeah. I don't know why, but in my head, and as an actor, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to build the character in your head, because if the director has a different idea and you can't, go with direction, on that.
You won't get the job.
So, so you're not really supposed to put things like that in your head. But in my head, I hear I hear him being really like that, like just more of a nerd. I guess it's because of the Harry Potter look.
That's
I don't know.
I was gonna say when I voiced him in the comic, I gave him a little bit of a nasally voice like this because I kind of, like you said, kind of always envisioned him as like, and I always loved the idea in the comic because he goes from like this geeky kid that wears glasses and talks like this right here to actually being the captain of like all of the sports teams. If you read the comic, he's like one of the most powerful kids in school, and he's a nerd that talks like this. And so I've loved that.
And that's the hard part, because then you're like, well, but wait a second, he got accepted to the to the gifted class, and so like, is he really gonna be a nerd like that? But it's just that look, though. That look makes you think that's kind of how it would be. And then when you see Sam, but when you read the storyline, the voice doesn't match to me, because he seems so low key. When you read like especially the first chapter, he's so low key and like lay back and kind of take easy. But the way they articulate him through art, he seems like he's wild and crazy.
Yeah,
so
I can see that.
So at the end of the day, it's like, what does Mike have in his head? What does he think the voices are going to sound like? And that's what I've been trying to think of, is what would be in his head, and who does he think the voices would sound like the most?
Yeah.
But I can only do what I can do. I'm not a big voice actor. It's more, voice acting is, I have some friends who do voice acting, and it's amazing. But they can't act on camera. It's just because, it's just like theater. Theater actors have a very difficult time getting in front of the camera, because you're this close to the camera, and you can portray everything without really speaking loud. You don't have to project to the audience, because you're right here with the mic, and the mic is literally right here at your throat. Whereas if you're in the, theater, what it goes. You have to project and make them come into you and feel you in that way. And so it's like voice acting is kind of like, some of these guys, they can't do the same mannerisms. They can't do the same things with a camera like that, but they can have the mic here. And so I would definitely have to say Adam Ackler, of course. And then with, I don't know if I can drop my voice. Like, I've been thinking more about Indrid Cole. I just been thinking about him lately, and I don't know why. Because at first I was like, there's no way I could do an Indrid Cole voice. But then I start thinking, like, as I get into character, and I start thinking, he's got that wide smile, and when he talks to everybody, could it be like this, or is he going to be even more dramatic as he's talking to people? I kind of think of the guy from the Keanu Reeves movie, Matrix. Remember the bad guy? What's his name? I forget the actor's name. The one who played the sunglasses. The one in the Matrix. The guy who plays the computer generated guy.
Hugo Weaving.
God, what is his name?
Hugo Weaving.
Yes. There you go. Hugo Weaving. I think of his voice for Indrid Cole, like that mannerism he gives, and so.
Mr.
I feel like but I feel like I could really tap into that, though. But like with the camera on you, it feels so weird, like to try and get down and make these weird, because you know how it goes, Rob. You got to contort your face sometimes to make these certain specific voices and noises, and so it's like.
It's funny that you say that, because as Turmentic was starting to do some of the voices and holding his nose and stuff, I'm like, I want a remastered version where it's just the camera on Rob's face.
No. I'm not doing a re.
Agent Smith. There you go.
No, the voice of the mysterious figure in chapter 3 that shows up in the carriage. I have to literally not only distort my jaw while I'm speaking, but I have to shake my head back and forth like this while I was saying the words. Like it was the weirdest thing in the world, and I laughed so hard when I realized that was how I was gonna have to say all of it. I can't even do it right now. I'd have to listen to the voice.
That's what I'm saying. Sometimes voice actors can't do the same thing on camera because, like I said, you got a camera in front of you. Now you can't look all pretty and you know, you can't be a certain way and all that fun stuff. You got to like really get into it. Like a beatboxer, like some beatboxers, to make the sounds they get, you know, they'll be like messing with their throat to get that sound out. You know, sometimes you gotta, you know, like before I do auditions, before I do anything, I warm up. You know, I get my jaw to open up. I do exercises, and that's all part of like trying to get that voice that you want. But the other night I started filming. I'm making a short with Adam and Sam, and I had the voice, and I can't remember the voice now. I was like, what? I recorded it, but I can't figure out how to get it back. Because I was like, that's the voice I want to use for this. It was so perfect. And now I can't figure out how I got it back. Because I'm driving in the car and I'll just be doing all kinds of weird stuff in the car. I'm talking to myself and I'll do it in different voices. You know, like I start singing. I can't sing, but for some reason I feel like I can sing if I drop down into this like weird voice, like, oh, Canada. Oh. Like I'm doing that stuff in the car, you know, and yeah, I'm looking over, is anybody seeing me? You know, as I'm doing this stuff. So, but I forgot the voice and now I'm driving myself nuts. So it happens though sometimes, you know.
That's well, when I was working on like Love's Voice and stuff, like I had like 2 or 3 people that I was sending clips to of it. And so anytime I actually wanted to try something different with the voice, I would immediately make sure to record it because I knew that if I didn't, I was going to lose it. And I was making so many different, like, so I feel that breaks my heart. You can't find that voice because I know that sucks.
I'll find it again. It'll happen. I just got to mess around a bit, but yeah, it's one of those things where you just got to kind of play with it a bit and try to see where you can go. And it's not only about that, but can you hold it? That's the big thing. Like
sustainability.
A lot of people go, I can play this, I can do that, but can you hold that through the entire take? One of my strong suits as an actor has been accents, and you got to, you know, I've run into a ton of people in accent. Like we've gone to training, and during training while we're doing accents, everyone's like, yeah, I'm an accent at this. I'm a pro at this. I'm a pro at that. And so you start doing the scene with them. They can only do like 2 or 3 words, and then the accent is completely gone. And it's like, you know, you got to be able to sustain what you're doing the whole way through. So even if you're doing a voice, you got to be able to sustain that voice through the whole time. And if you're doing like for a show, like an anime, you're looking at a couple of hours worth of work, you know, and you got to be able to hold it for a long time.
Well,
so
that's a good thing. That's a good thing that you actually brought that up, because some people could have interpreted what you said as like, Love, for example. I'll be honest, when I first started doing Love's voice in the comics, if it was more than 5 sentences, it took me a couple takes to actually do it, because
Love.
Yeah, I had to act, well, just because of the way that I distort the voice. But you're completely right. It's not just about like being able to do the voice for 6-7 sentences, a small paragraph. It's about being able to repeatedly do that voice for hours while you're in the studio recording. So that's a huge point that you brought up. Do your Aussie accents. Yeah. Oh God, no. No, Dean.
It's a bit down under. He wants me to do my Aussie accent, he does. I can't even remember. I lived in Australia and I can't even remember how to do it anymore.
No,
I'd have to understand the Aussie accent to do the Aussie accent.
Dingo.
Aussie. Aussie.
My invoice, my wife Chelsea tells me that my invoice actually is a combination of a little English and Australian. It's probably the closest I can do to an Australian accent.
I was trying. I was listening. So I listened to. I listened to MetaZoo Nation's podcast. I listened to your episode and a couple other ones of theirs, and I was literally just listening to the accents to try and get the accent back for me. I didn't live there long enough to really pick up the accent where I could really just bolt it out. I'd have to listen to it for a little bit in order to get it out properly. But it's like English. So, and on my resume, I state that I can speak, I think, 3 different dialects of English. We're talking about Great Britain, right? So we're talking Scouse, proper, and what's the other one? Oh, Cockney, right?
Okay.
So it's like, yo, bit Cockney accent there. You come from South London. You're gonna be matched with me. And then you got like this, you got the Scouse, which is in Liverpool. Watching, if you want to get your accent, watch Welcome to Wrexham, which is a TV show documentary on Hulu and
Is
Netflix.
that the Ryan Reynolds one where he bought the team?
Yes,
Okay,
they bought the team. If you want to try and pick up a nice Scouse accent, you know, or listen to Paddy Pimblett from the UFC, who's got one of the hardest like Scouse accents that I've ever heard. I mean, you can't even understand the words. In fact, I think I removed it off my resume because I'm like, I can't do a Scouse accent that hard. Mine's more like Manchester. Okay. And believe it or not, because even though Liverpool's here and Manchester's here, their accents are still very different. Most people think of like the Beatles, but no, if you listen to like an average Liverpoolian Scouse accent, it's like, it's crazy. Like I sometimes I can't even hear what they're saying. The words are so like jumbled and mashed and stuff. But you know, I think all of that can definitely go towards, you know, maybe the show. You know, if you get a chance to enact those in some way or another. You know, you could probably give M or St. Augustine or one of those guys, right? Or St. Germain. I mean, St. Augustine. I'm thinking Florida. You could probably give them kind of a little bit of an English accent in them. They're talking, you know, I'm St. Germain.
Well, Jermaine was from Transylvania and then spent a lot of time in French court. And then
he's from Romania. Yeah, Romania, right? Yeah.
Then he moved down to Louisiana. I'm pretty sure that Saint Germain is the vampire of New Orleans.
So he was speaking in the French accent.
There you go. Yes. But we don't have any confirmation of vampires yet in Cryptid Nation. Sam says that in chapter 3.
No vampires yet. Yeah, well, I think we're only up to chapter 6. I know 7 was loaded, but I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it loaded on the marketplace, and obviously you haven't done it yet, so it's not out.
They decided that they weren't going to do any more of the comics. I think last summer, and honestly, in my opinion, it made sense because the comics I think were going to pass where the card sets were way too quickly. So if they would have released a comic every single week, we would be well into 7 Cs now, I think. So I think it honestly was smart. I really do miss the illustrated comics, though. I think they were a really, really cool collector piece. And I'm excited for the ones
for sure.
The Hero Quest comics, and then 7 Cs comics coming out later this year too. I'm stoked about. I can't wait. I'll be honest, I hope there are more illustrations because I almost would call the MetaZoo comics novellas or light novels, if you will, versus actual comic books. Just because I really wish there were more illustrations, but I understand how they were trying to get, like, if they actually had turned those into comics, each one of the chapters would easily have been 4 to 6 actual comic book issues themselves. Just panels and everything like that. So I mean, at that point, with 6 actual like light novels, you're looking at close to about 40 individual comic books that they would have done them like comic books. So I'm interested to see how they move forward with it. Like I said, if Hero Quest, if it's more traditionally light novel or comic book, and then same thing with 7 Cs. Book hype. That's right. That's where we're gonna put that up. Book hype.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, book's coming out. You know, the funny thing is, as someone who reads a lot of we don't get scripts. We call them sides. And so they're usually, anywhere between 1 to, they could be up to maybe 5 to 10 pages of sides. They don't give us peon scripts. That's only meant for literally like probably the top 2 people in the show that would get a script for the majority of the time. But I don't read typically. I'm not a big reader. I can tell you right now, I've only read 2 books from start to finish in my entire life, all the way through. I've read tons of books. I just never ever finished books.
Well, time out. Do you listen to audiobooks?
Nope. Don't. My ADD doesn't allow me to just listen. I got to have things going on. I can't even read. It took me when I first read the comics. It probably took me 3-4 months to get through them, and they're not even long. They're short. But I can't I have to read things over and over multiple times for it to get to me because my ADHD just starts roaming off. But it's weird because when I get sides for the acting world, I can usually pick up pretty quickly, right? Like what's going on, and I can dial in on it. It's just a different vibe, I guess. I don't know. You're reading, you're doing the same thing.
It gives you something to actually focus on, create, in essence.
Yeah, that could possibly be the reason, because you're trying to think like, what could I do with this? I mean, most of the roles we get are like one-liners, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, you get lucky, maybe get a page of dialogue or something. You don't get to create very often when you're on the lower end of the totem pole for an actor. And I've been this way for many years now. I've had some good opportunities, but for the majority of the time, you don't read a whole lot. So I will definitely be reading the book though when it comes out. I'm definitely going to make it a priority to make sure I read the book.
Somebody asked how far along in the story the book will go. The book will actually cover everything from Cryptid Nation to probably the beginning of Seven Seas.
Yeah, it goes into, doesn't it go to Seven Seas?
I believe it's going to go right up to Seven Seas, but I'm not sure exactly what the timeline between Seven Seas and the end of the book will be, though. Streamy asked a really good question, or said something really good too, though. Said, I'm curious how the book show will track in reference to the sets, hoping each set gets a proper amount of time to fully flesh it out. I think each set is, and I'm going to talk about, I'm actually finally working on the timeline video. I'm going to cover it all the way up to native, or at least up to native, and then I'll probably include native and war before the book comes out. But I think that if you took like the comics, for example, I firmly believe that issues 1 through halfway through 3 is Cryptid Nation, and then halfway through 3 to 6 is Nightfall. And if, like we were saying before, there's so much more that Mike could have added to that story, like so much more detail. Instead of it just being like 1 or 2 chapters of Sam as a kid, I really hope he goes into when M rebuilt Point Pleasant, when M actually formed the Council of Casters for Point Pleasant. Some of the training that Adam and Rose actually did that Sam decided not to. I really hope they kind of he goes really in depth in some of that. And so I don't know how many pages he said it actually was, but I think each set is based off of one moment in the story. So I do think each set will be addressed, and each set, there's a cat again, each set will actually get an appropriate amount of time to tell whatever that story of that set is.
Cat.
Oh my God.
He wants to make he likes to make his bed right here, because this is where, when I'm editing with a cat in my arms, and he's usually licking my arm to the point where it's all red and hurts. Yeah, I just kicked him out. Sorry.
Oh God. All right. So my next question to you, my guy, is where do you want your channel to go from here in 2023? What are some of the goals that you have set for yourself?
Man, I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I think I made 2022 happen last year when it probably shouldn't have happened in the ways that I did. I won't be able to take as many risk this year, I think. So in other words, I probably won't be able to maybe do as much as traveling as much.
I feel that.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit more retained back. You know, I know, a big thing with everyone is there are people who understand what we do as content creators, what it means to us, and there's people who just do content creating for whatever reason other than being a real content creator. You can think of that how you want, but I take doing this as my main thing. I don't play the game, so I know for most people in here, it's a lot of people, it's all about playing the game, and so that's number one priority. For other people, it could be the collecting and investment aspect to it. That's not even the second part for me. I mean, the first part for me. For me, being a content creator is number one. So, for me, it is all about marketing myself all the time and keep trying to play catch up and trying to do all this fun, not catch up, but trying to keep up with everything that's going on. And all this other stuff that goes on that people say, oh, don't worry about it. Just make your videos as you want to make them. Well, it's easier said than done. This is what I wanted. This is what I'm trying to do actually as a living. So it's hard to do that if you're not getting the support that you thought you built up. And it kind of happened in Pokemon too. Like I thought I was building up this nice little support ring, but then when COVID hit, a lot of the LGSs, obviously couldn't open their shops. So they all started doing the breaks, and breaks really kind of hit a lot of us content creators where we weren't able to make fun content anymore, because why come to my channel watch when you could go to someone else's channel and they're giving away tons of stuff that you can't do because you're not a seller, and your content you can only open up half a booster box. Let's say they're opening up like a case, which is hey, I watch these videos myself. And so it got really hard to compete in the Pokemon world in those terms. So I always tried to set myself different from everybody. When I saw Leonhardt and Primetime Pokemon, those were the main ones. I forget the other guy that was doing pretty decent for a while there. There's two of them actually.
Pokerev.
No, Pokerev wasn't even doing stuff yet. This is before Pokerev. This is 2018, 2019 before he came along.
Way back. I can't remember.
They have a long name, but they're like normal
Tips, and then
that's Pogo. That's Pogo, which I also did do Pogo stuff too. I did do Pogo stuff too.
I was gonna say, I kind of relate to what you're saying, because when I did the Pogo stuff, it was really hard to jump into that game because you had so many well-known, established players. I grew, but I mean, not at the pace that these guys were, and a lot of it was because of the position. They were actually in the position to make that Pogo content before I even thought about it. Because honestly, it was Wizards Unite that got me into it. But that's
Trainer
what I'm
Tips
so
was in the
about, though, when it comes to
best
MetaZoo,
place.
is that we are some of the first. That's why I encourage so many people to start making content, because we are the first generation MetaZoo content creators. We are setting the bar for everything moving forward.
Oh yeah. Well, that's one of the reasons I hopped fully in, was because once I realized at the beginning of last year that MetaZoo is still so very early. I already had an in with them from 2021 when I first talked to Mike, and I actually missed Nightfall, and then I remember I had to take a break from YouTube. We just there was some personal life issues that were going at the time, and then I had a fallout with my former podcast. I decided to take a break from YouTube, and I think I took like a 2.5 month break, maybe almost 3 months. And what got me back in was I made a video, an evolutions video, about the Charizard, the number 11 Charizard card. How because evolutions blew up. I mean, people made that look like it was like the most.
It was the nostalgia factor of it looking just like
it was crazy, right?
I'll be honest, like there's no real value in evolutions, but I loved opening up. One of the things I have in my sealed collections is an actual Mewtwo Kanto EX box. Like evolutions honestly was one of my favorite sets that came out.
Oh, hands down, what a great set. Because like I said, it took you back to those times where you couldn't open up. We didn't have the money to open up the real stuff. But I made a video I made a video showcasing how breaks are influencing the collectible hobby aspect of Pokemon and card collecting overall. And that was my comeback video. And I thought I did a really good job on it. I mean, I did like a little docu-series with it almost. And I was like so disappointed it didn't get as much traction as I thought it would. I put a lot of work into it. And then I kind of was like, well, I'll just do a couple Pokemon videos here and there, which is what I did. And then I was really slow. And then suddenly I opened the door and there's a box from MetaZoo sitting at my house. And they had sent me some Wilderness. And I was like, what? This is crazy. Like, I mean, again, for those that don't know, again, I was on a former podcast, and the way I got hooked up with MetaZoo was during their Kickstarter phase. I thought a great idea for our podcast would be to interview new TCGs. So I started contacting different TCGs. One of the ones that I wanted to talk to was MetaZoo, mainly because I saw their spell book. And we're not talking about cards. I didn't see a single card. I just saw the artwork on the spell book,
Oh,
Cryptid
cool.
Nation. And I fell in love with it. Just that alone. So I hunted Mike down, found him through LinkedIn, surprisingly. And I started conversing with him and telling him what we were doing. I told him my background, gave him our channel, where all of the guys were at with their channels. Basically, me and another one, we're the only ones that were technically YouTube partners. And he was like, "Yeah, I would love for you guys to check it out." So then, right when Cryptid Nation 1 was getting ready to come out, they sent us some Cryptid Nation 1 to review and stuff. And I think that's how that relationship started.
Nice.
With Mike and MetaZoo. So
Nice.
fast forward again to Wilderness, and I was like, wow, okay, this is awesome. And then I've just hit the ground running with Wilderness from there on, and just started like, you know what? Nobody's really tapping into it. None of the big YouTubers seem to be. And I did see Dr. Applesauce made a video. You had Nick Strengthened Pokemon had made a video. Nobody, like none of the really truly known big YouTubers were really tapping in. I was like, this might be a good opportunity for me to get in early. And so that's why I really pushed really, really hard in 2022. Casters Cup, Roswell, Collecticons, they all actually.
I mean, like your content that you produced last year speaks for how hard you actually worked. I mean, like you just said, the coverage that you had at Casters Cup, you were actually one of the few that went to Roswell and Salem last year. The other Collecticons that you went to, I mean, like the amount of stuff that you covered last year was, I'll be honest, I'm jealous. I got to go to one Collecticon and I went to Moth Festival and Crypticon, and that was it. But again, going back to your editing skills, going back to that New York video, I can't get over that.
And it was great because it opened up doors with Collecticon. I'm invited to come back to Collecticon anytime I want, and I'll be given a VIP pass to be a content creator.
You also got what was it? Pin Club, actually, they loved your broadcast so much of when you actually were given more.
Yeah, they hooked us up with the Pin Club stuff, which was awesome. And then they did it a second time, which was really cool. He's coolest dudes in the world, the Pin Club guys. They are so awesome. We were literally when we were at New York Comic Con, I saw him and he was like, "Hey, go ahead and grab a couple of those UFO boxes off the shelf." So I grabbed 2 just blind boxes, right? He's like, "No, grab the box." He meant the display cases. I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "Take them, give them away. You'll do what you want with them, give them away." I was like, "Okay." So I grabbed them off the shelf, which is Phantasma knows.
I was gonna say, which is crazy because it had Phantasma's actual meteorite pin inside of it. I was there when you pulled that, and I lost my mind. I'm still jealous. That's the only secret rare I ever wanted besides the Leo space rare from UFO.
The only other card that made me go crazy was Burning Shadows, because I opened up, holy crap, like almost 4 cases of Burning Shadows.
Wow.
Oh, we were ordering by the case at one point. It was insane. Before I pulled the Charizard, Rainbow Charizard from there, and I lost my stuff. In fact, it's one of my best shorts on YouTube. I think it is. Could be wrong on that one, but that was all a real emotion, man. Pulling that card, I couldn't believe it. I never thought in the world I was going to pull a secret rare, let alone Area 51. And I pulled it for Phantasma, and that was, let me see real quick. That was always my biggest worry about doing breaks or anything like that for other people, is how would I feel if I pull stuff that I want for someone else? And actually, it felt really great. I actually was not jealous or envious or anything. I was super happy for him.
There's been a ton of those serialized cards actually pulled live on stream, though, too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you got to think of the ones that are pulled on YouTube and then the ones that are on Twitch and stuff like that. I mean, we haven't really seen one pulled in a minute, but like it seemed like they were popping up left and right there for a hot second.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to read Streamy's comment. It says, I remember one of the first Harley Con videos I saw was Roswell, and I remember being like, wow, whoever does his editing killed it. Like, I'll be honest, that was before I actually really
Streamy.
It was before I really knew Harley, like knew him. Because I mean, just like how Ian reached out to me in June, Harley was one of the ones that kind of reached out to me around the end of June, beginning of July too, and ever since then kind of has helped me grow my channel, give me some advice and stuff. But I thought, honestly, when I first saw that video, I thought you had a team. I didn't realize you did it all by yourself. Like, just straight that.
Yeah,
honestly.
Just all on myself. Yep. Just lots of, I shoot everything. Ian physically was with me in Salem, and I actually cut back what I normally do because I was with Ian.
That was
and
cutting
I was with,
back.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That was cutting back. Oh yeah, 100%.
He just be gone. I'm like, I don't know where he went, but I assume he's filming something. And then he's standing in the middle of the road with the drone, going back and forth with the drone, going up higher, getting all these shots. Like, oh my god, he's like, enjoy the event. But no,
ask John and Dad had about Mothman Festival, and I did the same thing. Like, I kid you not. Like, I kept Dad hat because I kept walking away, not realizing he wasn't following me, and I turn around real quick, and he was like a block away.
Because we were with Arbiter, like we were hanging out with Arbiter too, and he was in the T-Rex costume.
That was
and
amazing.
You know, there was just like, I wanted to hang out with them. And I didn't want them to feel like they had to wait for me while I was doing things and stuff. So I would like, I didn't film like I normally would. I know I filmed a lot, but I didn't film like I normally would. Because I didn't want to hold them back. Because see, for me, I'm going to film usually two different ways. I'm going to film at 120 frames per second, and then I want to film it again at 24 frames per second. I might even go and film it again at 30 frames per second. I might see I didn't like the lighting, so I'll go back and do it in different lighting. Like I'll literally do all that stuff over and over, and just as we're going and stuff. But I always feel like if I just film everything, then when I get home, I can't go. I miss that because it did happen.
I feel that so hard.
Long Beach at Collecticon, I missed a couple things. That was funny. Literally, the owner Matt from Collecticon texted me and because I showed him the video, and he was like, "How many people are with you filming?" I was like, "It's just me." How did you get those shots? Because I have shots where I'm filming from the front, and then you see me over behind his DJ booth, and then I'm on the stage getting him from behind. And that's a bad way to say that, but shoot, I'm just, and I cut it all that way. And what he doesn't know is I'll tell you the trick. So for anybody that's been to a Collecticon, Vanilla Ice, it's always the same. It was last year. It was the same guys every Collecticon. They did the same sets. Yeah. So they pretty much did the same sets as well. So what I did was I took the audio from the Dallas Collecticon and used it in the Long Beach one and switched it out and matched it up. So it looked like I was just all over the place. It was just me standing there with my camera recording, and I'd walk over and I'd get the shots over here, and I'd walk over and get the shots over here. Yeah. It was just, that's all I was doing to get those shots.
That's so smart though, man. That's so smart.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Like, no, that honestly is, that's see, that's what I'm talking about your editing skills. Just being like, you have the idea of actually using, because you're right, it is the same audio. You're 100% right. And I never would have thought of actually using the same concert and filming it from different angles to then splice it together for one video. That's why you need to go and actually watch all his content, people.
Yeah, it was just, and it's funny because when in New York Comic-Con, there was I was filming. I really did get to enjoy the Comic-Con, truly. I mean, yeah, did I stand around and talk to some people? Yeah, of course I did. I mingled with, Slippy Napkins and Zachy Carp and Jack Skeleton, and there's a handful of people I can name that I would see him in line all the time or coming at the booth, but I literally did not like go and enjoy myself except for one moment. It was Saturday morning before the place opened up, and I was with Darius, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go walk around the con." He's like, "You want to come?" I was like, "Yeah, man, let's go." So him and I just walked around New York City Comic Con. He was looking, because he's a die-hard Oh my god, I'm gonna be embarrassed. What's the Rangers? Power Rangers. He's
Power
a
Rangers?
diehard Power Rangers fan, like OG stuff. Like I'm talking like he gets like the real helmets and stuff they used and
Oh, wow.
signed and all that
Nice.
stuff,
Oh,
right?
that's awesome.
Yeah, real swords and all that. So I was like, hey, do you mind if I film it? Like we can make like maybe a little vlog on this. He's like, yeah, go for it, man. So I filmed that. It's the one thing I need. It's the one that I want to get out next is that. But that was such a cool thing. We spent like an hour walking around before the place opened, and he had me taking pictures of him because he wanted pictures of all these different things. It was really fun and cool to do. So that was the only time that I actually enjoyed myself. And my son was with me, and he worked his butt off. He literally he had the gimbal for the iPhone, and he walked around filming everything as well. And he filmed all the MetaZoo stuff. He gave out MetaZoo packs as well. We just like really put a lot of work in. And then when I'd get back to the hotel, we'd go get food. We'd go back again. I'd leave him, and then I went back out to New York to go get B-roll shots. Like I stood in front of Madison Square Garden for I think a half an hour to 45 minutes, just getting a time lapse. Then I went all these different places, just getting time lapse shots, and I did that for like 3 days. I woke up at 4 a.m. to go get the drone shots because
the sunrise shots.
Technically, you're not allowed to fly a drone in New York. So what I did was I went to
the interview.
Yeah. I walked over to the Hudson and flew the drone over the Hudson, and then I just flew it back and forth over the Hudson and wouldn't bring it over the buildings. I was too scared. And we were right in front of the vessel, which is it's been closed for a few years now, but we were right in front of the vessel there. So that's where I was operating the drone from. So we were over the Javits Center, and I just didn't have the guts. I know tons of YouTubers that I watch all fly their drones in New York, but I didn't have the guts to do it because I didn't want to pay a fine.
I mean, smart. No, I would have done the same thing. I mean,
it's all logged. They actually get all that information. So I just kept it over the Hudson.
It's not worth the trouble it could bring to the channel for you to break the law and do something like that. Don't ever break the law for content. That's just
exactly. You don't want to break the law, man. You get in too much trouble, and you break things too doing that. By the way, cost you even double, triple what you did. So I basically just I did that all 4 days, and then like I said, I'd be out at 12 o'clock at midnight. I walked down to Times Square with all the drug addicts. I'm sorry, but it's true. I literally everyone around me was just doing stuff. And I'm sitting here going, let me go live.
Right now. It's hard time.
Let me go live. So I was ripping. I did what? I went live on Instagram, I think it was, or YouTube, and I ripped packs. And
I remember.
I did that on my own. Like I wasn't with anybody. And then they have like this stair section where people can chill in Times Square, but they close it because they don't want the drug addicts and stuff. The drunks.
You opened one of the first seance boxes, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got to open got to open the technically.
That's awesome.
It may not have been the very first, but it was the first box given out to, and I was told to go.
I think the first box on YouTube.
It was the first box on YouTube. That was Shaw. Shaw did that. He was like, "What are you doing tonight?" And I was like, "Well, I brought a Nightfall box with me, and I'm gonna go live from Times Square, and I'm gonna open it." He's like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "You're not scared?" I mean, no. So he was like, "Oh, that's awesome." And he's like, "Hey, would you rather open a Seance booster box?" I was like, "Well, yeah, of course." He's like, "Yeah, we'll get you one." So yeah, he's like, "I'll have Ted come." Ted came over and was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get you." But the thing with Ted was, he didn't want me to be by myself. He was really worried. Because again, all the guys, were there at night, and we all seen what was going on. And it's even though I lived in New York for a long, long time, it's gone downhill quite a bit, sadly. And so Times Square is not as safe as I think as it used to be. And there were plenty of cops around, but the people don't care about the cops anymore, so it doesn't make a difference. They'll still come after you. They'll do whatever. And he was like, "Listen, I really don't want you."
Like, to be fair, though, it is like, unless you've ever been to New York City too, you might not understand. There are more people per capita in some of those city blocks than there are in towns.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's
Yeah.
I'm not even
It's-
kidding
it's
you.
packed.
There could be like 20
Couple
to 30,000
thousand.
people like in a city block at any given time in New York.
Yeah.
It is
A,
a
a New York,
massive city. It is
a New
not
York.
all what you see in movies, I promise you.
Yeah. A New York block is probably, I want to say, a quarter to half a mile long.
Oh yeah,
That's
it's
pretty. That's pretty big. That's a block
It's a big area.
in New York. Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, Ted was like, "Listen, I want you to do you have anybody going?" I said, "Well, I was kind of doing a meetup. I put it out there for anyone who wants to come join me."
Mm-hmm.
And I had a few people reach out and say, "Yeah, we're gonna come." And he's like, "Well, I got somebody here that is going to be taking the Greyhound bus back to where they're going tonight, and so they got to go catch it right next to Times Square. Can they come with you?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, of course, yeah, bring them." So he introduced me to Captamancer. I forget what name they go by. I can't remember the name that they go by on Discord. I just remember Captamancer is their YouTube name. But yeah, joined me, and then Phantasma showed up. The other people that said they were going to come didn't show up, so that was it. It was just
did my buddy Ryan? I can't remember if Ryan was there or not. I think he was.
Which Ryan?
Cryptid Collectibles.
Oh, Jack
Ryan
Skellington.
Yeah, okay,
yeah. Ryan. Yeah. No, he skipped out. Him and Zach skipped out. They I text them, and they were like, they were the two. I didn't want to say it. They were the two who were supposed to come out, and they were like, he sent me a photo, Ryan, of Zach passed out in the room.
I believe it too. He was sending me pictures of their hall. Like, I kid you not. These my guys, they had a hotel room, and it was just packed with loot and amazing things. And like, they got the opportunity to go to like the Funko party and all. Like, I was so jealous of my boy Ryan when he went to New York Comic Con. I'm not even gonna lie.
Oh yeah, they killed it for sure. Oh man, I was actually supposed to stay with them at the hotel they were staying at, and then when I found out I was officially going there with MetaZoo, then Ted called me, and I couldn't afford to. For those that don't know, I still pay for myself. MetaZoo does not pay for me. So I couldn't afford, even with their discount rate that he got for me at the hotel they stayed at. It was way above my price. But I got really, 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 really lucky. And I think I got a canceled room, but from a hotel that was literally just across the street from the Java Center. So it was perfect.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah. Train station was not too far. Penn Station was a 10-minute walk. A little bit longer than what I would like to have done, but that's fine. But yeah, it worked out perfect, and it was way cheaper than where the guys at the MetaZoo crew was staying at. Yeah, kind of funny. Yeah, Mitrata, Ali. Yes. Yeah,
I
Ali.
didn't realize that's who Ali was.
Captamancer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Ali. Yeah.
So my next question to you is what is your favorite cryptid besides Squonk?
Oh, I mean, hands down, it's Wendigo. Wendigo's my favorite.
Okay, I didn't know that either.
Yeah,
Wendigo's my favorite.
Wendigo?
What is it about Wendigo? Why?
I love when I was a kid, my dad, we used to go on trips on his Harley Davidson every summer, and we used to go out to like the Badlands and Mount Rushmore, and we'd always drive out that way. We've been to Sturgis a couple times. So just that whole like vibe that Wendigo, because Wendigo comes from that area of the country. I just always been drawn to that. My dad had giant freaking bison skulls and some other stuff hanging up in his house and stuff. I mean, he's not a hunter, but he just was into all that. We had tons and tons of Indian stuff, like just different trinkets and things like that hung up in the house. He was real big into that type of stuff. So Wendigo just kind of hits home for me in that way, I guess. So yeah.
What is okay? I got a question. What's your favorite Wendigo art you've seen so far?
Favorite Wendigo art is by far Righteous Reckoning. That's the one that hands down. I just love the pose, and then that hollow foil just makes it pop, and
Okay.
I absolutely love it. Love it
Which
so much
now-
so that was my costume in Salem.
Really?
Supposed to be the costume in Salem. It's supposed
Yeah,
to be.
imagine walking into our hotel room and seeing that.
So is it safe to say that that's your favorite MetaZoo card, or do you actually have a favorite card?
That's my favorite MetaZoo card too. Yeah, Righteous Reckoning is my favorite MetaZoo card.
Oh,
I
nice.
love
Okay.
Loveland Frogman too. I did a top 10 video. Again, one of these things where I don't follow through on anything. That's my problem. So I have so many videos I have actually filmed that are sitting on a hard drive that have to be edited. And some of them are old, like the eBay ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now they're so old that they don't make sense to put out. So I don't even waste time with those. I have a series that I was making of, I was doing my top 10 Cryptid Nation first set reverse hollows, and I was going to do full hollows, and I was going to do Nightfall, full hollow, and then reverse hollow, all like top 10 stuff, right? And all I got to was Cryptid Nation full hollow top 10. That's it. That one's on the channel, but the other ones have not made the day of light yet. So
Okay.
I'm bad. I'm bad in that way.
Content creation in general, though. That's you have so many plans that you start to kind of pan out and write down. And
oh my god, my Apple Notes is just like,
yeah.
I have of so many ideas between filming videos for the channel and acting ideas I come up with to film like skits and stuff. I have pages and pages and pages of notes, and it's like, I overdo it too much. The problem, it's just like when you start a project, like I'll start a project in the house, like to fix something, but then I'm like, oh, that needs fixing too. So I'll walk away from that one and I go start working on this one. And then I'm like 2 months later, that one's still sitting there. Oh, wait, let me go get this one. But meanwhile, that project got put off the side because I saw another project that had to be fixed. And it's like making content is the exact same way.
I still need to put out the CryptidCon video. I keep pushing it off and pushing it off. And I mean, the other thing too is that as a content creator, don't ever tease somebody with something, because I've been teasing the timeline videos since like what, August?
Now you have to do it.
I mean, I've been saying I'm gonna get to it. It's what, February now, and I still haven't done it. So yeah, no,
well, I did the same thing, because like I was gonna start this whole series off that I did, the channel spotlight series that I've started now.
Love that, love it, by the way, like everything.
Appreciate it. We'll have you guys on soon, believe me. I've got a little thing already planned out of what I've got going on here. So the problem is soccer right now. Like, I didn't know we had a game tonight. We didn't find out till today. And I was like, wait, there's a game? So this is not on the schedule. Oh, there's another schedule. So anyways.
Oh no, he's not even lying, because the same thing happened with me. Like, we had our last game last week, or 2 weeks ago actually, and then we got a phone call 3 days ago being, oh yeah, by the way, we have a tournament game on Wednesday. And we're like, well, we thought it's been over for a week and a half. And like, nope, soccer never dies.
Yeah, so I was supposed to start this channel spotlight series this summer. I was supposed to do my 3rd interview with Mike. And then I was supposed to start doing what I called the artist series. And I'd already spoken to several of the artists, and I had it lined up. And then just one thing after another kept happening. And then of course we had New York City Comic-Con happened, and then Salem happened. And then, of course they had to get back on, doing their job, which comes number one, designing native and stuff like that. And probably the Valentine set, whatever else they were doing back then. And then I ended up never getting a chance. Like Chris was supposed to come on with me so many times, and he's got a really hectic life. So I completely understand that he just doesn't have time. He had to keep pushing it. Then we were like, well, let's talk in November. So I had to push the whole channel spotlight thing back. But my eventual goal was to do what you guys are seeing done now, which was to talk to people in the community and get things going that way. But the other problem I had was I could use StreamYards. I could use Melon, which is the same thing as StreamYards. The problem is that I don't specifically like using them. We used to use it for our podcast. I was not a fan of it. I didn't like it very much. I couldn't mold it to the way I wanted it. Like I have my designs and all my stuff on there, and it's your brand.
OBS is your friend. Like, unlike me, I can't stand OBS. I get why you use it because
it's your brand, though.
Yeah. I get it. You have like intros for people, and then you have all of this, and you have all of that, and like
I'm still making intros for people. Yeah, it's like I want to be able to do all that stuff, and it's part of my brand is EpicTube, and so I really didn't want to go that route. And so when I read that Streamlabs, which is Streamlabs OBS, which by the way, OBS and Streamlabs OBS are not the same company. They're two separate companies.
Oh, really?
Streamlabs stole OBS's idea. So for a while there was a big fight there, but I think they settled it. But I read that they were going to have this collab cam thing. I'm like, okay, this was back in October. So I was like, oh man, they get this thing out, we're going to be good. So then it came out and I tried testing with a couple people. I think I tried testing with Ian even.
Mm-hmm.
I asked you to come on, but
we tried it once.
Yeah,
we couldn't get it to actually work right.
We couldn't get it to work. So now I'm like, I already run a dumpster fire channel, and I'm like, I don't want to make it like way worse than what it already is. So that's why I chilled on creating it. But now it's up and working great. And so I'm going to try and do a little bit more with it going forward and see how that goes and
awesome
and stuff. So more content
creation.
creation.
To see all the collaborations going on lately.
I know I get the whole like having to put it off too, because we originally talked about doing something like this beginning of December, mid-December or so, but then we didn't really start moving forward with it until like the third week of January. So
and then all of a sudden it just hit the ground running and kind of went. And
I love how I've seen there's been this huge revolution in the MetaZoo community, I want to say in the last like month. And it is honestly, like I said, it's all of us. I feel like we're all actually working with each other now. We're all actually trying to, like I always say, lift the entire community up. And it's always great to actually get to know who these people are that bring you all of this great MetaZoo content. Like, there's a couple people that have reached out to me that totally want to come on the show, and they're not really big content creators, but that's not what this is about. This is about actually showing all of these amazing people in this community and what each one of them actually brings. Because each one of us brings something different. And again, like we were talking earlier, we are the first generation MetaZoo content creators on YouTube. MetaZoo's only to like you were saying when you were interviewing Dean the other day, MetaZoo's technically really only a year and a half old if you want to count from Cryptid Nation. If you count from Kickstarter, yes, it is older, but public sale, it's only a year and a half actually old. And so we are the first generation content creators, and that's kind of amazing, honestly, to think of it like that. Where it's very rare that there's an opportunity for something like this that I say is going to take the world by storm to be at the ground level of that support base, that content creation support base. But it's even crazier to me how supportive this community is in general, how we actually there isn't really much bickering between content creators. Like we actually, like I said, we try to actually lift each other up. So, the bad ones weed themselves out. Like that's all it is. The community is the one
they
that
definitely
weeds
do
them out. Like, and it's amazing.
I mean, I've said it many times in my channel. As a competitive person, again, I was a professional athlete before anything. That was what I wanted to be my entire life, was a hockey player, and that was my goal. And so I'm very competitive, very, very uber competitive. I've said it on my channel a million times. I look at other content creators as my competitors. I'm competing against them, but at the same time, you also look at them and respect them. You can do both. You can have both. And that's, like I said, I know a lot of people. I've heard a lot of people say they think I don't like Argos and I talk a lot of crap because I use him a lot. And I always say I use him because he's the measuring stick right now in MetaZoo. 100%. He's the top. 100%. And so if you when the news pops, are you going to beat Argos? You're going to get out before he gets his stuff out. Are you going to be able to do this? Because at the end, again, for me, as I was saying earlier, this is my number one thing, not playing the game or anything else. So it does make a difference to me to try to be quick, get the information out. Hopefully it's accurate. Have people believe in me that what I say is true, have trust in me, some credibility. And so, and that's the part that makes it a little bit difficult. Cause again, coming from the Pokemon world, we tried to play the whole, like, we're all a team game thing. And it didn't work out for a lot of people. It turned a lot of people against each other. People went to doing things they said they would never do. They were, making content we wouldn't like. I wouldn't support. I don't believe in cutting cards, for instance. That's a big no-no to me. I've sent packages to India. I've sent packages to different places in Asia. I've sent packages in South America to kids who can't get Pokemon where they live. And so when I see someone cut up a card, it's you're probably gonna do what you want, but I'm not going to support you, because that's like, that card could have went to somebody who would have loved to have that card. They would have. I mean, I had a little kid. He sent us a thing, like he was crying because we sent him a package of stuff. To me, it was that big of a package. To him, it was like he just won the lottery, and he was like crying and bawling. He was a little Indian kid. And so I don't support certain things that maybe some content creators might delve into to get those views. Is it really worth the views at the end of the day? I don't think so. Again, people can do what they want. Just doesn't mean I'm going to go watch your stuff. But ultimately,
it's not the best use.
I do look at this like a competition to a degree. I'm competing against you guys, even though I tell you, I mean, we had a little pact for a while, right? We had a pact where it was like, okay, so I'm not doing news
for a while
because Ian. Well, no, if there's like major news that pops, then we all kind of have an obligation to have to hop on the major news. But like, I'm not doing like what you and Pee Wee's does. That's something. And there's thing I kind of did that in
that
Pokemon.
Though, even though too, I will actually point out that like Pee Wee's. I mean, I would say even what is it, TCG Collector and Ian. They all cover the news, but each one of them brings something different to it.
Oh, they all bring something different. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, you and Argos might actually like be opening the same products, but they're completely different openings, in my opinion.
Oh yeah. No, we're different. To be honest with you, I've had people say that we're very similar in a lot of ways. I think we were in Dallas, and I was surprised. Like, him and I kind of look very much alike too. We're like almost the same height. We're both kind of stocky dudes. He was in better shape than me right now. I got to lose some weight, but I love Argos. I think he's a great person. I actually really like Argos a lot. But ultimately, as a content creator, I know that if I don't get out videos enough or fast enough, the views aren't going to come here anymore. They're going to go to other people, and then I'm going to lose those views. And it is the game of being a content creator. If that's what you want to do, again, if you want to focus on being other things, that's fine. But for me, this is why I'm here. I'm here to make content. I give away most of my cards. I don't keep as much as people think I do, and I just have fun covering MetaZoo. I have fun going to the events. I have fun opening up the stuff and things like that. But it's all really, honestly, it's really done so I can make content that I enjoy making. I've been offered 4 different TCGs now, have offered me to make content for them. I've only accepted 2. Yeah, 2. I've accepted 2 that I have done. I enjoy MetaZoo. I actually like it. So I want to do what I like at the end of the day. But, it doesn't come with its heartaches, because like you said, you got, it's hard to separate sometimes. I have this saying that I made up many, many years ago. It's called, it goes, jealousy and envy are manifestations by those who feel entitled. So once you start feeling like you're entitled to something, that's when the jealousy and the envy starts seeping in. And that's when the negativity and everything follows it. And it starts ruining your mental state of mind. And as a content creator, I talk to these 2 more than I talk to anybody else in the community. And these guys have heard me enough. And I probably haven't even complained as much as I probably would complain. But yeah, mentally, it's really tough trying to be a content creator, because you're always thinking about why isn't this happening? Why isn't this happening? What's going on here? Why is it there?
Well, it's not even
Like
just that though,
No.
too, because it's that sometimes
Definitely.
like that self-doubt always creeps up on every single person. I don't care
Yeah.
if it's us or if it's Leonhardt
Yep.
or whoever. Like that self-doubt's always going to
Oh, Leonhardt's going through it big time right now.
Well, but
Yeah.
it's also on top of all of that and running the channel, you're also dealing with real world things. I mean, we're each real people that have families. All of us are married, all of us have kids, all of it, like there's other stuff going on as well too. And so it's actually juggling all of that. So I completely get, because there's times where it's like I know I need to make a video, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to go to sleep because I need to sleep, or I'm not in the right mind to make the video.
I've gone in my lives, and I've gone on these little rants in my lives, and it was like when I had a bad day, and I was already just mentally unstable from what happened earlier in the day. That hadn't to do with MetaZoo or anything, and now I brought it here. It's just the piles on top of your frustration, and then you get upset and stuff. You know, like I said, I've had a lot of people reach out to me because they think that MetaZoo pays me to go to these events. Now, I believe they have covered some people. I say it right off the bat. I put myself out there first. I contacted Mike and I said, hey, I would, if you're doing something for Roswell, I have the ability to get there on my own. It costs me very little. I would love to cover it. Would you be wanting to do that? He was like, yeah, let's absolutely come on out. And I was like, and then they were like, here, we'll have you stream. That was the first time I ever done a stream like that. So it was a dumpster fire. I think that might have
been the first stream I've watched of yours actually was the Roswell.
And it was a dumpster fire too. It was terrible, terrible stream. They both were. Well, Saturday was bad. It was beyond my control. Sunday was a lot better, but Saturday was out of my control. But you did.
I was so impressed with what you did though with the limited tech that you had there, because I remember you having so many problems actually with the internet and getting anything to run.
Oh, it's terrible, man. It was a frustration for sure. And then there's Payne and LPA bringing their home PCs with them and their entire internet setup with Wi-Fi and boosters and all this other stuff, and I was like, oh, okay. But I've always reached out to them and said, hey, I can get there. It costs me nothing because again, I worked for the airline for many years. My wife still works at the airline, so it doesn't cost me anything to get to these places. I just have to stay somewhere really and maybe get from point A to B, and I'll try to handle it myself. And so I opened myself up to that. So I'll never sit back and go, well, MetaZoo, would it be nice if they did gave me a hotel? Absolutely. Of course it would be nice. But they got me into New York City. That had to cost a dime to do that. Me and my son, mind you.
Yeah.
And my son. Yeah. So that, we worked. That's why we worked. I felt there was an obligation to go there and work and not really, maybe go off and enjoy myself like we would like to have done.
No,
my son did enjoy himself.
Video, dude, it proves that you actually work whenever they actually bring you to an event or anything like that, or you go yourself. That itself proves that you actually work. So
we had a good time.
real quick, because I want to actually show another comment. But Dean actually had asked, can we get some thoughts around native beasties? What's your favorite one that you've seen so far?
So far, I definitely like the Atabey. I love the, like in Pokemon, I'm a big fan of, all the, I forgot, what do we call those in Pokemon? The trainers, the full trainers. Yeah, I'm a big fan of those type of stuff. So I my wife's Puerto Rican, and, it reminds me, it just reminds me of a lot of things from Puerto Rico. I love the Atabey artwork. That's definitely one of my favorite ones from what I've seen so far. I think I've seen everything so far that's come out. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence. I'll be honest with you. I don't really like those types of cards. I'll be honest.
They're pretty.
It's
not White Schwartz.
Conversation for another.
It's not White Schwartz going on here, it's not like they're hitting White Schwartz.
That is very accurate.
The waifus. There we go. Waifus. That was the name I was trying to think of. Yeah, I like the waifu
I'm
cards.
Yeah, I just, like I said, I don't know. I'm not really actually all about those cards. I think a lot of those are actually overhyped, and a lot of that might have to do with when a lot of the stuff I did when I was actually touring children's theater for years. I don't know.
I mean, they're technically
Kim's over there
trainers at
laughing.
the end
Look
of the
at him.
day. They're technically trainers at the end of the day, right? In Pokemon, at least. And
Yeah.
I just think that the realization was kicking in for Pokemon. Like, look, man, White Schwartz is coming out with all these crazy sets, and then there's other TCGs coming out with some of this stuff, and it's like this seems to be what the trend is going for, and it kind of seems like they just followed it. I mean, when you first seen, not Caitlyn, the one from Burning Shadow. Oh no, was it Burning Shadows? Where did she first come from? Forgot
I
what
don't
set.
know. I'll be honest. I am not that well versed in Pokemon. I didn't get back into Pokemon until 2020 during the craze.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
I
there's
sold most of my collection, but then picked up a bunch of stuff. So I don't.
there's
know
a few
Pokemon
that
from like 2004 to 2019.
well, the wearing of less clothes has only started recently.
Yeah, and that's something that I really don't appreciate Pokemon doing.
Yeah,
There's so many
because normally they were fully
that.
clothed. Yeah,
and there comes a point where
no, not Skyla.
There comes a point where it crosses the line, in my opinion, and I don't know. That's actually one thing I don't really support fully that Pokemon's done. Because
I can't remember the name.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I said, they're going with the trend at the end of the day.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Marnie might have been. No, Marnie was
nope, not Marnie. No, she wore the all black. She wore the all black, like it looked like a long, what do you call those coats that go all the way down to the ground? Like a trench coat. She wore I want to say Kaylin or something like that. Or I don't know why.
Exactly,
but
Dean. Exactly.
It was one of my favorite. It was one of my favorite pieces. It was one of my favorite artworks that they had came out with. What was I saying? There's Caitlin, but it's not Caitlin. I can't remember the name right now. It just escaped me. But those were some of my favorite cards that I really enjoyed. I thought they did a great job on those. Like I said, they're all part of the characters too in the Pokemon anime. So, and like I said, they just started following the trend.
There's that line that I honestly,
Cynthia.
Cynthia, yeah, I just
there it is.
There's that line that I'm very questionable sometimes. I think that Pokemon actually crosses because you don't see any of that type of stuff actually in the anime proper itself.
Pee-wee's got it. It was Cynthia. That was one of my favorite early ones that they came out with. I love that artwork, and she was very hard to pull, especially in the earlier Sun and Moon sets too. She was very difficult to get. But I like the Atabey again because it's with again the association to my
Your
family
wife.
And everything with it. Yeah. So it just,
I remember how excited you were when it actually was announced because you specifically mentioned Puerto Rico.
Yeah. So I'm not sure because my wife is part Taino as well as Hispanic. So it's, most Puerto Ricans that come from the island will have some Taino in them. So again, there was that association there. That was just kind of cool. Cool. My wife's dark skin, like that. She's, just a lot of similarities. I thought that was really cool with that artwork. I haven't seen enough though yet to really say. I mean, there could be some big bangers that are about to pop. You know what I mean? And they have not shown them to us because you know how MetaZoo plays the game, the hide and seek game. So,
what is the one thing that you're excited about the most this year coming out with MetaZoo?
War. I can't wait for War, man. I have a feeling War is going to be. I said this months ago when they come out with War. I think War is going to be the really, really coolest set of them all. I really hope it is. I have a feeling it's going to be the big main set in the block. I think it could be that big. There's so much they can do with War, and they can get really with the artwork. They can really get nasty with the artwork. So I'm looking forward to that.
It's definitely going to be one of those turning points in it because, again, I'm very vocal. I really feel that War is going to be something where I don't think Sam and company wins the war. I think they're forced out of Cryptid Nation. So I think War could be one of the darker sets that we've actually seen. I'm excited to actually, with War, the one thing that really excites me about War is what at that point, what big beasties are they going to bring in for war? Or is it just going to be a bunch of rehashing of the older ones? Because like we know Mothman's going to reappear for war.
Well, everyone believes, yeah, the reiteration of Mothman. Like, how are they going to handle
who are
that?
the other big ones though that you actually, who are some newer big ones that would pop up for war?
Are there going to be newer big ones though? Because
Yeah, they may not need
even if
anything
they-
new. I mean,
even if they just bring back all of the golds from all the
Old
first,
scratch?
at that point it would be 7 sets.
Can you imagine an entire set of nothing but just them bringing back all the golds?
I'm just
from
saying,
all
even if
the-
they bring back just the golds, that's still, what, 20 to 25 per set that would come back over 7 sets. So that
I mean,
would
yeah,
be
this
a
is the
lot
big
right
deal.
there.
This is the big separator for the block. So you're gonna have, I think, the majority of new. I mean, old, but you'll have a new one, of course. There'll be a new one or two, but it'll be all of the old species from the block.
Well, I'm interested to see if the new ones that we'll actually see will have ties into like 7 Seas, for example, or something, or maybe we'll actually see somebody from Yokai that comes to Cryptid Nation in order to try to maybe rescue Salmon Company or something. Like I'm really like, and that's the really cool thing too, is that we'll get war right around the same time as the book, and so it's going to be the first time really we'll ever have a set drop with the actual real lore of that set. And that is honestly one thing I'm really excited about when it comes to wars, because like I said, the first time we'll have those side by side.
Yeah.
You're going to be really busy in July and August.
Ooh, you're telling me, man. That's why, honestly, the only tower that I'm really going to this year, well, the only towers, I should say, I'm trying to actually go to, the water tower I'm competing in. I don't know if I'm going to even try to compete, but I really want to go to the forest tower in Rhinelander, Wisconsin in May. And then, of course, I need to go back to Point Pleasant for the Mothman Festival. Again, I don't know if I'll be competing in that.
It's funny. Those are the 3 that I'm hoping to go back to or planning to go back to, because I have family in Wisconsin. So that would make sense for me. And, I wish I was able to go to.
I think Rhinelander is going to be the hardest. Rhinelander is going to be the hardest one to get to.
It's 19 hours from where I am.
Rhinelander is going to be hard to get to I think for a lot of people.
The Hodag people are so awesome though. Like
Rusty Ranger she's chiming in. Come to Wisconsin. Yeah.
I met the Hodag people at Mothman Festival, then I saw them again at CryptiCon, and they're some of the coolest people in the entire world. I know that festival, whoever goes, that festival is going to be insane. It's going to be insane.
So I have a friend of mine from the Pokemon world that moved from Florida. He's from Rhinelander, and he actually had to move back there. And I remember last year I hit him up. I'm like, hey, man, they're going to be having a booth there at Rhinelander. I need you to go get me some promos. And so he was like, dude, it was like one table. They had barely had a sign to cover it, and they gave away no promos. I was like, what? I go, are you serious? Really? He was like, yeah. He goes, it's pretty small. I was like, oh, well, I guess it's good I didn't come. But yeah, it should be pretty good.
It ain't gonna be small this year. I can tell you that.
I would love to go up there. I would love to definitely go up there. I think that'd be pretty a pretty cool spot to go up and visit. I like going to like out of the middle of nowhere type places, and I've been up that way. I've been all around there anyways. I played hockey. We had our state championships that we got our team into one year in Ironwood, Michigan, which is in the Upper Peninsula. And that sits right on the border of Wisconsin and Michigan, again, in the Upper Peninsula. So I've been all around that area. It's a beautiful, beautiful area. Wouldn't want to be there in the winter, though. Not a fun place to be in the winter.
I know that there's a group trying to put together a Squonk Festival, I believe, in Pennsylvania. And then I think there's a Flatwoods Festival that's actually taking place, too. I can't remember the date, but I remember seeing something like that too. So it's actually kind of cool seeing all these other cryptid festivals start popping up. Because I know the Squonk Festival is going to be new. Like I actually talked to the guy, because it's actually the same guys that do the Hodag Festival. They want to do a Squonk Festival, but in Pennsylvania. And then the Flatwoods one, I think it's going to be. I think this is the first year for that too. I can't remember. But I'm excited, like, because I mean, my thing is that once MetaZoo actually hits mainstream hardcore, you're going to have all of these small towns where they can throw a festival together. And I mean, MetaZoo might not have to make a actual presence there, but it's just the whole idea of bringing awareness to the cryptids and the lore and other things like that. Like, there's a huge cryptid community outside of MetaZoo of real cryptozoologists like D the storyteller, of people who went to school to study these stories, things like that. One of the guys that I saw at CryptidCon, Seymour's Masks, he makes the most amazing. I need to finish that CryptidCon video. He makes the most amazing lifelike masks, like all the artists and stuff like that. So
that
I'm
made
really
me think.
excited to actually.
That made me think of the Simpsons show when you said that.
Oh, I'm just excited that MetaZoo is actually bringing awareness to this community, and when MetaZoo goes mainstream, those people are the people that are going to be sought after because of the popularity that MetaZoo brings to cryptids in general.
Yeah.
Like I'm excited. I'm looking like 5 years down the line at how like MetaZoo honestly is it's fully shaking things up. So. All right. So, that brings me actually my last question I got for you tonight. What is your favorite thing about MetaZoo? And it can be multiple things. It can be a feeling. The friends we've made along the way.
I mean, the art always comes number one for me. Art comes number one. That's what drew me into MetaZoo, was the art, the nostalgic feeling that Mike made around, MetaZoo with Pokemon, the involvement of Pokemon, with the kind of a throwback feeling to the 1990s, late 90s, that's really the number one thing for me that really hits home. Everything else is just what's that saying? Like, it's just pudding, it's like gravy, whatever you want to call it. It's just like extra on top. So I think that's been definitely the people that I've met so far in MetaZoo.
The friends we've made along the way.
99% I can say. 99% I can say. Maybe 99.9% I could say. Have all been absolutely fantastic and great. I don't want to compare any to like things in Pokemon, because I think Pokemon was great too. And like anything in life, you're gonna find there's bad apples, there's bad things, it's in here too. It already is, and it'll be around, and it'll be, if you were to go to another TCG, it'll be there. And
what was it you and Dean said? You guys, you aren't legit till you have haters.
You're not legit till you have people who hate you. So
yeah, you haters, you ain't legit.
I had the for those that may follow Pokemon, I already had Rattle Pokemon make fun of me. I've had a few people come after and attack me. And I'm not even a big content creator, which is the funniest part of it all. But I wouldn't say I've made it by any means either. I mean, I again, when you look at my subscribers, yes, I've got I think it's like 2,300 subscribers now or something. And you guys are around 1,000. Well, he's at 1,000. You just hit 1,000. But in reality, your MetaZoo following is actually double mine, because my following when I started MetaZoo, I was at 1,700 already. So a lot of my followers are basically Pokemon and just older followers from maybe, our travel series and stuff, right? So my MetaZoo following is still really small. We're talking probably it's 500 people is roughly what I've gained since coming into MetaZoo. It doesn't feel like that to some degree. Sometimes it feels like it's bigger than that, but in reality, it's not. I will have only gained 500 plus subscribers since I decided to go full-time MetaZoo content creation in March of 2022. So it's it's a slow progress. It hasn't happened as fast as maybe I'd like it, but I also don't hit home right now for a lot of people. Again, I don't play the game, but I've made it a priority to try and learn more about the game, so that way I can cover the game and have a little bit of, understanding. Sorry, I just saw Pee-wee's comment. I hate all three of you. He's like, I hate all three of you.
Yeah, I've made it.
But yeah, so it's like I said, it's just you just keep moving and going along. But and I'm trying to learn things so that people will, can have a little more faith. And maybe if I'm covering something, they know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, my first interviews were with MetaZoo and Easton. And cool. I was literally sweating bullets because I'm like, I don't know this game. I don't know anything. How am I going to talk to these guys? I was literally scared. And I actually almost called off the MetaZoo interview because I was so worried talking to someone who had just won the Casters Cup. He's the number one player. He was considered like number one, number two player in MetaZoo at the time, along with Easton. And I did what I could. And, I thought the interviews came off great with both of those guys. So I've made it a priority to learn more about the game, because right now the majority of the MetaZoo people here are really game oriented. And I understand that. Mm-hmm. I don't talk as much about it. The lore stuff, I would love to talk more about the lore. You've been handling the lore, and I just didn't feel like it was a need to go there. And you and I have had conversations, and a lot of guys may not know this, but
if you ever want to do anything lore wise, do it. I fully support it.
Well, you were going through a really hard time for a while there because you just were getting views on your videos.
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, dude, should I stop doing lore? Should I just stop? And I was like, dude, no, don't stop. Keep doing it.
There was a time around like 500 subs or so that
you were like, yeah, no one's looking at my videos.
It didn't make,
and I told you,
no matter how many I put out, it didn't matter. It's just like there weren't that many people interested in lore.
And so I said, we're just too new into this right now. And I told you, dude, if you keep doing it, it's when it hits, it's going to hit.
Mm-hmm.
And you stuck with it, and look, it's hitting now. And it's what MetaZoo wants too. They want the lore. Mm-hmm. I like to be different from everybody. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to do what other people are doing. And like I told you guys earlier at the beginning of this whole podcast, was the way I separated myself from Pokemon. I used my film experience to make my videos different from the ones who were doing it already, like Lee and Hart and Primetime and all those other guys. I used multiple cameras. I was using 2 GoPros and another camera. I was doing B-roll, adding B-rolls into videos. I was doing slow motion, 180 frames per rate, showing off the products in a different light and the cards. And I was trying to be separate from everybody else. So with MetaZoo, I kind of was trying to do the same thing to a degree. And, like I said, I started off doing a few skits, did the refresh skit, and then I did the alien skit. And then I just kind of was like, time and things started hitting where I couldn't do that stuff anymore. And with the lore,
bring back the skits.
I know I want to bring back the skits. I really do. I got some ideas for skits too. But then I was like, he's doing lore. They weren't picking up as well at the moment. But how could I make the lore be different from what Turmentic's doing it? Because like I said, the other guy, Demon Fergus, was doing lore. There's actually another person, I can't remember. I haven't seen them in forever. I forgot who they were. They were doing lore too, but I don't remember their name. But I was like, how could I do it so that it's not doing what they're doing? Because they're already doing that way. I got to do it a different way. See, I do everything the hardest way freaking possible. I don't ever do anything that's easy. I don't have shortcuts. There's no shortcuts on my keys. When I edit in Final Cut Pro, I don't use none of the fast stuff they tell you to do. I make everything myself. All my emojis, all my logos, the logos I rip from other places, they're never PNG'd. I do all that myself. I do it all on my phone with 2 apps, and then I transfer that crap back and forth to my computer, and I'll do that over and over. And I don't do nothing easy. That's the problem. So when I do something, it just takes a really long time. And that's where I get lost. And then I give up. And then I have a 8 terabyte hard drive sitting here with so much footage on it. I won't delete it, but I'm not going to upload it either because I'm not going to edit it. So that's the whole thing. Like, moving forward, what I want to do with MetaZoo is, like I said, I would love to cover a lot of this stuff too. It's just that it takes a lot of time. And I got, 3 kids, one in high school, one in middle school, one in elementary still. And so my time is already tough.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes things, it's really hard to make this stuff happen. I film at 1, 2, 3 in the morning.
Same.
Most of the time.
I feel that. So, oh my God, I feel that in my soul.
That's why I have bags under my eyes when you guys see my videos. They're like all bagged up and stuff.
It is the only time everyone is asleep in the house to where you don't hear toot 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 on the floor upstairs.
Exactly. Exactly. And I have a lot of people in my house. We have 4 streamers in my house. So my brother-in-law streams. My brother-in-law's huge. He's pretty big. He averages 100 to 200 people a stream. He does hey, I forgot what he does. What does Nat do? What is the thing that Hot toys. He does hot toys.
What is hot
They're
toys?
very, very high-end collectible figures. Very like high-end though. I mean, these things are expensive. And he's built a huge following on that. So he streams in my house. And then there's 2 other people that stream in this house. That my kids stream. It's insane the stuff that goes on in this house, guys. You guys, I haven't even filled you guys in on a quarter of what's going on in this freaking place.
You're gonna start actually streaming is it Ribbon Ships soon? I remember you mentioned that actually in your stream last time.
Yeah, so Pokey Charles who's one of the partners for MetaZoo. He has been asked. We've been trying to talk about this for a couple years now, and I've never been a fan of doing it. I there's too many people that do it already, and I just I don't want to be one of those people. But we've gotten to the point where I just feel like, what, I think at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and do it because you can't seem to grow at the level I would like to without doing it. And enough people in here have said they wanted me to do it and stuff. So
I'd love to watch you. I'd love to watch you in a ribbon, dude.
It was supposed to happen already. I don't know where the stuff's at. He actually just texted me today to say, I'm sorry, I got tied up. I'm sending the box out today to you. So he's going to send me everything. And I just have to rip it, open it, pack it, and send it. So I'm not supposed to do anything other than that. But I'm just waiting.
Yeah, no, like you were saying, that will definitely bring people to your channel. At the same time, I think it was, Mike for TCG Island even mentioned it at one point where you're the people who are still subscribed to you. Because I'll be honest, when I first started making MetaZoo content, I still had a couple hundred subscribers from back in the day. I lost a couple hundred subscribers because of the pandemic. I just stopped making content, but I still had a couple hundred when I started making MetaZoo content. So I didn't start at 0. It was like 200 or 300 something. But I don't remember where I was actually going with that.
Breaking, ribbon shipping, Mike, TCG Island.
I don't remember, honestly. Channel growth or something. Yeah. Anyway, So what I was saying, what I just remember. Sorry, my ADD just kicked in randomly.
See, that's me.
You're still saying that your channel, like you said, your channel is actually it's significantly bigger than mine. It's double my size. And the thing is that you were saying that only like 500 or so of them are MetaZoo subscribers per se that you've gotten from MetaZoo. What's actually speaks volumes to me is the fact that 1,700 people are still sticking around for all of your MetaZoo content. Because I've noticed, and Ann will attest to this, I've talked to him about it, I probably honestly lost at least 100 to 150 subscribers on the road to 1,000 that I'm assuming were Wizards Unite or Pokemon Go people that used to follow me. Because like I'd go up 4 and then I'd go down 2. And then I'd go up, and it always would happen when I would release a video, and I never understood why. And Ian was like, "Oh, it's probably because they just logged into YouTube, saw that they were still subscribed to you, and stopped." Which I'm guilty of doing that too.
They get the notification bell or whatever, and
yeah. Well, yeah.
And so it speaks volumes to me though that your base, actually your subscriber base, is still there for the MetaZoo content, even though you started with travel vlogs and you went to Pokemon, and I can see how you doing Rip and Ships it would be not only good for the community because you're very entertaining when you're opening stuff. I will say that straight up. But also just for the growth of your channel in general, because again, if you can keep that many people that were Pokemon centric into the MetaZoo world, hats off to you, because I'm pretty sure at some point I lost all of my Wizards Unite people.
Well, I've definitely seen changes. I mean, I was averaging almost 300 to 400 views of video up until around August, and that's when YouTube did its changes. And then suddenly I started dropping down. That's when I started like really texting Ian, like, dude, I'm flipping out here. And he was like, just, relax. I was just like, my views are gone. Like, how did I go from 300-400 views a video easily to suddenly I'm struggling to see 100 views on a video? And it happened pretty hard. So there was a YouTube change that did hit people, and it actually hit all the big creators too.
That was actually around the implementation of the shorts, right?
Well, that's when they first announced it.
Okay.
And stuff, but they made other changes within the algorithm that hit everybody really badly.
Yeah. So that around the August timeframe, they didn't keep the shorts history and the long form history separate. That's when they merged the history.
Oh.
And then the monetization just happened. I got hit back in the beginning of January.
Okay.
So where I was averaging 500 to 600, I'm now averaging closer to 300 to 350, but my retention is much higher. So I'd have like I don't know if you've looked at your retention stats, and most people probably don't care about this, but on average before I'd get about 34-40% retention. So 34% of people would stay until the end of the video. Now I'm averaging 60%. So the people that are seeing my videos now are people that actually want to stick around and watch it. So that's
they went into the news.
That's the difference I've noticed, is that even though yes I'm getting less views, it's that the retention's higher, so it's just targeting the people that the recommendation system has decided really enjoy the content, or may enjoy the content more. At least that's what I'm telling myself, so I don't get sad about it.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I might change up actually is that, as I see now, we're at 2 hours and 16 minutes. I'm thinking of actually switching my lives to being. Yeah, right.
They always, always like, all right, it's gonna be an hour and a half, and here we are, 2 hours and almost 20
I know,
minutes.
right?
My wife messaged me earlier. She's like, "You're still doing that?" I'm like, "Yep."
Yeah, no. Chelsea laughed at me when she's like, "So you're gonna be in bed at 1?" I'm like, "No, we're gonna be done by like 11, at 11:30, the latest." And here we are at 12:04 Eastern time.
I see TCG Island just says, I think positivity grows that content creators follow more than anything. I've said for the longest time, what makes a successful YouTube channel, okay, or it could be Twitch, anything where you are the content creator, it's personality. People fall in love with personality first. When they like who you are, they come back and want to watch and listen to you. It doesn't have to be anything about the content. I mean, there's so many content creators who do no openings at all. They literally just talk, and people love them because they like the personality. So I've always told everybody that's the number one thing. That's what makes being a content creator the hardest part, because even though I may think of myself mentally as an extremely strong person, even the strongest mental person has breakdowns and gets frustrated and gets down over things. It happens. And that's 100%. One of the things that's hard to not show. And I know I've caught myself where I've been, I try to be very positive. I believe in karma. I believe karma comes back and rewards you. My whole thing has been to be a positive person moving forward, and I don't want to bring negativity. But yeah, I've caught myself many times now just like throwing negative comments out there, being negative. Again, it beats on you after a while. And that's the point where you got to go, you know what? Maybe I need to take a break. Yeah. And like, Ian we were just talking just recently, and he was like, he hadn't really seen me very much. And I was like, yeah, you guys, I don't think a lot of people see me as much. I haven't been in Discord as much. I haven't been posting as much on Instagram. I've been laying off things a bit. And it's because I have built up a lot of stuff within myself. A lot of it is unnecessary. A lot of it is stuff that sometimes you just can't control. You just feel the way you do.
Oh, well, no. I mean, at the end of the day, like we were saying before, we're all people. We're all humans. I mean, we all have to take a break at some point. I mean, I wasn't around for a solid, 2.5, 3 weeks because of, whatever, the show that I did, Rocky Horror.
Rocky Horror, yeah.
Like I honestly didn't do much or anything like that specifically for those 2 weeks for the show because I didn't have time. I had to focus on other stuff. There's been
you have
times
to.
where I've pushed videos off a couple days. I pushed them off a week or so. I mean, just because like you said, you have to be in that right mental state. You have to be like you said, that positive force, because you don't ever want to come on to something, especially something you love like this.
Yeah.
And because of being mad at X, Y, and Z in the real world, try to and somebody see that in a live stream. Think of it I always think of the first time. Anytime I ever talk about MetaZoo, I always imagine that I'm talking to someone who's never actually heard it before, because a lot of our content will be viewed by people who have no clue. Like what's a MetaZoo? Like they have no idea.
Oh yeah.
And so I always want to try to come off like in a positive way, because I want their first it's one of the reasons why I wanted to redo chapter 1, is because I didn't really know what I was doing. And it's cool that I did the entirety of chapter 1 comic, but I want the first time somebody listens to that to be like, okay, I want to listen to more of that. Where and it's, I don't know. I'm just, it's,
you look at the channels that were doing MetaZoo before us, I don't really want to name them, but I think a lot of people know these channels. They were great channels for MetaZoo, and they let the negativity sneak in. Yeah, seep in. Yeah, seep. They let the negativity seep in. And you know what? Just like I was telling you earlier about how card cutting videos will get those views for people, but I said I will be one of those people. Those are the same people. They started making those negative, MetaZoo content videos, ripping into MetaZoo, and it's become a big thing for them. They got some big views in the beginning, and that lasted like a couple months, and now
2 videos. Most of them it lasted 2 videos, and then everything bombed after that. Yeah, because everybody clicked on it because they wanted to see what was being said, but then everybody realized that there was no substance in what was being said, and so there was no value in continuing to follow and listen to what that person was trying to spew. And I've seen
that's what I never want to become.
Oh yeah,
I would quit before I become that, right? And I am going to name somebody because I was in love with Purple Elf. He was one of the first channels.
That was one of the ones I was talking about.
I know.
I wish Purple Elf would start making content, to be honest with you again. I really do. I loved his stuff.
Great personality.
He was, yeah. He was the first person I invited to do the weekly trivia on my channel because I loved his stuff so much. And then it fell into this, and the worst part was like with Jeff, like he did have a lot of good points, and he was always kind of on that edge of being edgy, but kind of truthful. And then it just hit a tipping point, right? And I never want to get to that tipping point.
I would stop making content before I got to that point, because at that point, that's the thing, is that like I
miss Jeff. I do.
Yeah, I do. I wish Jet would. I wish he would actually make more content. But the thing is, though, is that he would actually make the content that he used to make, where he actually was he was in love and he was passionate about it.
He fits the exact persona that I said earlier.
Yeah,
he fixed the exact persona. It was all about his personality. He's not. I don't know how to put this without sounding bad, but he's not like a great looking dude. He's not like he's gonna draw in all these hot women and guys that may like. Oh my god,
whatever, dude. That voice,
that voice, whatever this. Yeah, it's his personality. His personality is what drew you in. Because like I said, I didn't give a care about the card game, but I would listen to him because I was like, I like this guy. He's entertaining. He's weird. I like that. It's something about him.
To this day, I can still hear 1 and 2. It's MetaZoo for you in my head, and the hellos. Like he left such an imprint on me.
Waking up like
Christmas wallpaper.
Waking up with the hello and stuff. Like
the Christmas wallpaper he had.
And we've touched on this, or kind of hinted at this a few times.
Different cat.
Different cat in this live is like the kind of this community, this lifting each other up, this being there for each other, right? You guys are my content creator group, and you have saved me from getting to that negative point before. You've saved me from quitting before, like specifically around the time of Salem. I was in a bad spot, right? So it's incredibly important as a content creator to find other content creators that understand what you're going through, that understand what you're doing, to help make sure that you don't tip over the edge, that you do have a support group to rely on to get you through those hard times. Otherwise, you're gonna, you might find yourself in a tough spot. You might, quit. I've been there. So, thank you guys. I'm getting a little emotional right now because I didn't expect to talk about that. But
I mean, it's just one of those things where at the end of the day, you want your content and you want what you're being said to be a reflection of you. Mm-hmm. And if you bring positivity to your content, you bring positivity to the community, you're going to get that back. And I mean, it's the same thing and vice versa. If you bring that negativity, I mean, it's like you said, karma. It expounds and it just multiplies. Mm-hmm. And so I always say it. That's one of the reasons why I fully support everybody and anybody making content. Because if you have questions, reach out to us, reach out to other content mm-hmm. creators. Because
absolutely,
like I said, we're the first generation content creators. Anyone from the last year and a half, 2 years that have made MetaZoo content, we are the first generation content creators, and that's an amazing thing. And we need to be helping each other. We need to actually be lifting each other up. Because at the end of the day, yes, you could say we are competing for views, we're competing for subscribers, but what is stopping, like you said, Ian, and you both, Harley as well, what's stopping the same person? Like most of the people that I'm seeing in chat right here, they're subscribed to all three of us. Mm-hmm. They're also subscribed to tons of other MetaZoo content creators. So we don't have to look at it as the idea of like we're competing. We're literally trying to work off of each other.
So many of these people are also content creators themselves. I mean, we have mm-hmm. Piwizo in here. We have Claire, Rusty Ranger in here. We have Mothhawk. There's a bunch of people.
MetaZoo. I mean, I know MetaZoo probably can call himself a creator.
It's very different today than what it was when I got into it back in 2018, mm-hmm. 2017. There wasn't really anybody doing this stuff, and now it's like I said today. It's like everybody's kind of wanting to get in. A lot of people are getting over their fears. Plus technology. I mean, like, with the phones, it's so easy now. You don't have to have the professional cameras anymore. You don't have to have certain things. Mm-hmm. One of my friends in Pokemon who just hit 50,000 subs, he does everything on his phone, and he has from day one. I still question some things because as an editor, I know some things, what you can do and what you can't do. And I still question that he does everything on his phone. But for the most part, I know he does a lot of it on his phone.
Hey, I mean, it is possible because that's how I run my entire channel, man.
Oh, no, there's some things you can't. I know the app that he gave me, the app he uses, and it's a pretty decent app. But there's keyframing elements that just can't be done through the app on the phone. And it's like, yeah, I know you probably dipped into your computer once or twice, but no, he still does everything on his phone for the majority part. So, like I said, it's so much easier for everyone to get out and film something now. Like I said, one of my favorite content creators right now is literally MetaZoo. His TikTok videos,
absolutely.
I love what he does with those. That is, nobody's doing it. It's along with what I like, which is the entertainment business, the film and television stuff, and he's incorporating it, and he's got a great eye for it too. That's the other thing. So right now he's one of my favorite content creators. With the things that he's doing. I cannot
wait for Joker's Favor to actually start making content.
Yes, I'm excited, dude.
Like
the stuff he's gonna do, I can only imagine.
Ooh. And like you said, like I felt kind of bad because I'll be honest, I had not heard any of Mothhawk's. I just saw him. He actually just what made me think of it. I hadn't heard any of Mothhawk's music until mm-hmm. last week, and I heard one song and immediately, I immediately subscribed, liked it, went through, listened to like every single song he had. So there's so many smaller content creators too that like I'm excited. Like I said, we were talking about this.
Oh, there's so many.
We were talking about this at the beginning, how I love how mm-hmm. specifically, like it seems like this last 3 or 4 weeks, there's been so many people posting content on the Discord, and there's so many new names that I'm actually seeing pop up, and I'm so excited to see where we are in a year, where we are in 3 months, where we are in 5 years.
I'm actually gonna have the Rusty Ranger on my show here. I think we're gonna do it this week. I have to,
sweet!
I have to get back out to her. So yeah, because I reached out to her, I think it was last week, and and she said yeah, she'd love to do it. So I got to get with her about maybe trying to get it done this week if we can get it done. But she's another one like that comes from a background that I don't think most people know of, and so I don't want to say too much now. Dude, can you just stop? Get out of here, jeez. Sorry.
Doing laps in the kitchen.
So you know, crazy background, you know, and now rips and probably gets out more full-length videos than
Always
all of
pushing
us
out
getting out our short videos.
Always pushing out.
Yeah. So it's like a video after video after video after video. And then not only that, but she's starting to kind of be almost like Joker's favorite in a lot of ways, where you're seeing her in like all these different places, you know, whether it was over in LPAs or Aoki now over to Argos, you know, you guys, I mean, you're seeing her a lot of different places. So I think it's gonna be a cool little fun thing to have her on. Once I get her on the show. There's a bunch of people except Mothhawk. Watched a few of his videos I think a couple of weeks back. I watched them. Then I saw the reposting with the music playing. Obviously I had Captain Asia on. I had Pee-wee's on already. Pee-wee's was my test dummy. So thank you, Pee-wee's, for being the test dummy. We got to learn a little bit about those guys, you know. Captain Asia, again, somebody that they really don't know of how big his collection is and how much money he drops in MetaZoo. That was a fun little thing to bring out. You know, again, it's, you know, celebrating what people do, you know, is, I think, can be a fun thing. The one thing I was always worried about, and that is, like I said, from a content creator's view, it sucks to hear this, but it's the truth. And I was even told this, like in Pokemon. Nobody wants to watch people they don't know who they are. You're like, your views are not going to do well for the most part. They just aren't. If you're going to get Mike on, you're going to get Andy on, you're going to get Ted on, or any of the artists on, you're going to get bigger views. That's just a clear thing. And that's what most of the YouTubers are trying to do. But with MetaZoo right now, because we're still a very small niche group of people, I think it's really cool that we can do this right now. And I'm not bothered. I think we're getting the same views as we were before, you know? So we're able to do that now. And I think that's the good thing now, is taking advantage of it now, because once MetaZoo does get bigger, you're not going to have this type of stuff happen. You're not going to have, you know, we had pack battle. We ran a pack battle series in Pokemon where we had a 16 team pack battle. It was all YouTubers, you know, and all our views sucked. Nobody cared to see us. Like, you know, we were like trying to make fun content like that. But I think where MetaZoo's at right now is a really, really good spot for this to happen. And like you said, you get to know people, because we're such a small group. We get to know people a lot better, and you can find out. Not everybody has to watch every content creator. There's obviously people who don't like me. There's people who don't like, you know, other people here, and there's gonna be people who love you. There's gonna be people who love me and they want to watch you. So you just got to concentrate and focus on the people that are showing up in your streams, your videos, your lives, and go from there. Like I said, let your personality speak for yourself, and always try to be, you know, positive. I know I said, I know people taking hits at me because I haven't chastised MetaZoo or done whatever, you know, these people think you're supposed to do. But you just got to do you. And, you know, again, I think doing the Spotlight channel series, I think what you guys are doing now, you know, Turmentic show, we're both doing it now, is going to put a really cool emphasis on the people that are in here, that are coming in here and, you know, and growing it. So shout out to you guys for getting this going as well, man. I mean, I was excited when you said you were going to do it. So
yeah, like, I mean, like we had already planned on actually, like we said before, we had already planned on actually doing it, just us talking about who we were, things like that. Yeah. But then Andy actually said in the Discord he wanted more content creators to work with other content creators, and that really kind of like lit a fire under us. And I love how there's been like a handful of people who have actually took what he said and ran with it too. On top of that too, that was right around the time that we saw the big push of content creators that started actually appearing and started doing content for MetaZoo, which is, it's like I said, it's been a very awesome month, I feel, for MetaZoo content creation.
Oh yeah. And we were all planning to do this. Like I said, I went back to the summer. I know you and Ian, I know we'd all talked about doing this stuff well before the Andy thing happened. This was all stuff that we wanted to do. We were just trying to figure out how to do it. It just sometimes takes time to work those kinks out.
Oh yeah,
but
to be honest, like shout out, like I said, CNO from TCG Island, because I wouldn't have known how to do any of this without him actually doing the research that he did in order to find it. And I mean, like, this is you got to start out somewhere for me. This is like a complete perfect setup for how I operate and how I run things. So, like, by the bottom of my heart, I love you, Mike. Thank you so much for that.
It's not easy streaming. It is not easy to stream. StreamYards and Melon do make it easier to do this. I definitely hands down agree to that. But once eventually you get to the point where you, like I said, you want to incorporate your brand and have it fully incorporated, you're going to have to shell out that money for the StreamYards, which is a little expensive. Or like I said, you switch to doing like a Streamlabs, or I forget what the other one's called, Stream something. It's like Streamlabs, but it's a different name.
But like this right here, using StreamYards, like that was the one thing that honestly made it to where, like, we came up with the idea for Casters and Cryptids, the thing we're doing this coming weekend, where it's pretty much MetaZoo tabletop, MetaZoo RPG.
Oh yeah.
We came up with that idea back in August. Dad Hat actually was the one that came up with the idea, and then was like, "Hey, do you want to dungeon master this?" And the biggest problem for me, honestly, was trying to figure out how to get all 6, 7 of us on the same stream without having to pay an arm and a leg in order to actually make it happen.
Yeah.
And so like that kind of gets what I'm getting at is, like, we've talked about it earlier in the podcast. I almost called this a podcast. Wow. We talked about it earlier, actually, in this interview, where you don't need all of that money in order to start doing the content. You don't have to, like, you can use a phone. You can use, I use a $25 mic that I got off of Amazon. So you don't have to start out with that top tier equipment. You can work your way up to it, to where, like, you have a bigger base. You've been doing this a lot longer. I would kind of expect you to have a lot more tricks up your sleeve on how to actually get content out, how to edit things, how to record things, stuff like that. But that's something, that's a goal that somebody should have working up towards. You don't have to start out with all of that.
Yeah, don't have to start out with all of it. Don't let that bog you down and get you to the point where you're like, I don't want to stream. Like you said, just StreamYards is free. Anybody can sign it. The only difference is I guess somebody's paying for this program, right? Because I don't see their logo on here. I know if you don't pay for it, you have to, their logo is on there. You can only change so much stuff up. But if you purchase it, see, like on my former podcast, the person who bought it, he got it because of his work. So he was able to write it off through his work. So he was able to set ours up and stuff.
That's what happens when you put me in charge of the stream. I don't actually put that on until the end. You're welcome.
See, there you go. Yeah, you can add all that stuff. But even like I said, in the beginning, just to get yourself going, if this is stuff that you want to do, you don't have to have it that way. You can go ahead and just get the free StreamYards or Melon. Melon is Streamlabs version of StreamYards. So it's all operated through the internet rather than through your actual PC is what it is. And you can start streaming. You can have multiple cameras because it goes by a link. So you can send the link to this phone. If you got a second phone, you can send the link to that phone. So you can set your card camera up, and then you can have your face camera.
That's actually how CNO and I actually tested it the first time. Was him and then I had my second phone that I used for B-roll, and we just connected it just to have the actual third screen there.
Yeah, it's exactly what we did in the very beginning too. So it's like you can do it for free, and then, like I said, once you start feeling like you want to invest more in your brand, like Ian is with Cardboard and Coffee, with his new line coming out soon with merch and membership programs.
I felt like I had to. I just got it offered to me.
No,
you go hard.
I know. Yeah.
All I know is I want one of those coffee cups to enjoy my coffee and your little bits.
I'll send you one.
I have been pushing it off for too long.
I want to test and see if I can. If your video will end before my coffee gets cold.
I've been pushing it off for too long.
Videos.
I got to make.
So
I got to get memberships going, man.
What's holding you back? Do you? I offered to do badge creation for. Good night, Mothhawk. I offered to do badge creation for Turmentic when he's ready for his. If you need, if anything I can do to help, let me know.
Yeah, that's just the thing. It's all about, it's the committing, man. I just don't know if I can come. See, I've said this in my lives before. I feel if I'm going to be serious about this, you got to fully commit to it. You can't half-ass it, because there's too many people who have had bad experiences with people who've done memberships. They've taken their money and then they don't get anything for it. And it's like, I can't do that to someone. I got to know that if I'm going to commit, like, obviously I was looking at your stuff earlier today, right? Which is kind of the pattern that I was thinking for myself. Super simple.
Yep.
First tier, you're getting yourselves emojis and some, you get yourself the emojis and you get the replies and things like that, right? Real simple. That's not hard. I can do that. I do it already, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just gets to the point where it's like, I gotta, I'm gonna offer you a video before everybody else, or I'm gonna offer this before everybody else. It's like, now I gotta commit to something where right now, if I can't do a video, I can't do the video. That's gonna make me have to do the video and put me in a spot that I don't want to be in. Is what it is.
Yeah. I've only skipped two weeks in the past year, so I feel like consistency wise I can do that. I almost took it off though, because the way I found out the way that YouTube does early access videos is completely manual. Like, you can't set it up as a member video and then tell it, okay, at this time go live to the public. You actually have to go in and like manually switch it over, so it's a lot more extra work. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not the best. It's been that way for years apparently, so I don't think it's going to change. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
I haven't even put out a regular video in, like, I don't even know the last time I put a regular video out. Everything's been shorts. I've just been putting shorts out.
There's been a really big push in MetaZoo shorts lately, I've seen. Not just from you, but just from, like, Ian's started pushing out shorts. Like, Happy Kitty started pushing them out. Captain Asia started pushing them out. There's just been a really big
everybody's
push.
doing it.
I
just did it because I got irritated with the fact that I was putting all this effort into making these videos. Like I said, I don't do anything. I go full out when I make my videos, and it sucks when you see you only get 100 views on a video. It hurts the soul to go, I did all that work for just 100 views, where I've been doing this for years now. I've got a decent subscriber base. It's like, I feel like, dude, I should be getting like 300, 400 views at this point. That's what I used to get on my videos. What happened? So it hurts the motivation aspect. That's where all the mental part comes in. So it's like, you know what? I'm just going to kick out the shorts for a while until I feel confident again in going in and spending hours editing. Like I said, I got tons of New York City Collecticon videos to still make. I've shot for 5 straight days. There's so much cool stuff that I really want to show off in a video, and I just haven't had the motivation. There's still Salem. I still have Salem video to finish. My last Salem video I was going to make. I haven't finished it. I did put the short out with, did you see the short, Ian? The T-Rex short?
Is it me getting chased? No, I didn't. I missed it.
I put the short out for that. I did it like last week. I did the short of it.
All right,
but I have the full video that we did to still put out. There's just, and like I said, a bunch of little things that I've done.
I was sad because I thought it got cut. I thought you just like, it didn't come out good, so we didn't use it.
No, I just haven't been able to.
There's just so much content and such little time to actually put it all together. I feel that 100%. I have a laundry list of like theories and individual cryptid videos I want to do, and I can't. Man, if honestly, I would have to probably take off a solid 2 or 3 weeks to go through and make every single video I have on my list.
Yeah, it's insane, man. It's insane. Yeah, it definitely. Yeah. It does hurt though. Like I said, when you only get so many views, and it's like, there's an aspect where you go, I've been doing this for how many years now?
That's the dinosaur costume, but because of the green screen.
Yeah, you can't see it. That's awesome.
Sorry,
it's chroma key picking it up in the right angles.
Oh man,
yeah. Again, I support everybody who wants to do that stuff. I try to watch as many as I can. I know a lot of people don't always see me comment or something, but I literally tap into so many people's videos through the content creation tab.
Which, by the way, that new content creation tab that they put over on the Discord is amazing. I'm
I
just
love
gonna
it.
say, I think it is amazing. I love it.
I'm still out on that because I just don't like the feature where you can just keep bumping your video to the top. It's like, wait a second. Once that video is posted, that should be where it's placed at. And so if someone posts their video, because then it's like someone just keeps going in and putting yours up above everybody else's, then yours falls further down. And if you're not someone who's going to do that, your video falls out. I'm like, so
give
I
that
don't like that
criticism-
aspect of it.
I give that criticism in my weekly today, and it's good in two instances: premieres and live streams. Because your premiere, you're putting it up ahead of time so people know about it, and then you can remind people about the premiere, which brings it to the top. Same thing with live streams. Other than that, though, you know, it's nice to have that thread kind of going and people can react. But yeah, it's going to get abused.
Well, yeah, because I mean, I personally had a problem, as several people are aware, back at last year, beginning of the summer, where somebody was specifically forcing my stuff out of the way with a purpose. It was with intent, and you know, it was really getting bad because it said they pushed my stuff out of the way where no one could see it again. And then it's like, what do? You know, they're just constantly keep dropping the link, and that's the only down part I don't like about it. But otherwise, I actually like it. I do like the setup, and I like the idea of it. But I definitely encourage people to click on other people's stuff. I mean, you handle what you can. You got people who swear, you got people who don't swear, you got people who are crazy, you got people who are calm and very mellow. There's many different types of creators. You don't have to watch everybody. Again, I watch people a lot. Honestly, I want to see what they're doing. Maybe they're doing something innovative that's like, wow, that is really cool. I like that idea. Maybe I can take it and twist it in my own little way or something. Maybe I like this person's personality. I never knew who they were before. Wow, I kind of like this guy. I'll watch him again. You know, there's tons of people out there. There's the Cotter's boys. You know, I know a lot of people.
Brothers. Oh, I love the Cotter brothers.
Kids, as a family, as someone who called themselves a family channel with kids, I completely understand. There's people who don't want to watch kids. That's fine, but there's also people who love to watch the kids because they're real.
Yeah,
a lot of time. You know, they say things maybe that others that you'd be like, whoa, that's funny.
My next video is actually for the Cotter brothers because they wanted me to do a Sam's Cryptid Collection video on the Cryptid Busters, and so I'm doing first. It's Sam's Caster Collection, and it's going to be on the Cryptid Busters, and I'm making that one specifically for them because they love the Cryptid Busters.
Yeah, there's tons of great. Like I said, I've gone over so many different people that make content. It's just all your speed, you know. It depends what you like. But I go and I check a ton of people out, mainly because I want to see what they're doing and if I like them or not, you know.
Yeah.
As a content creator, it is absolutely hard to watch videos when you're trying to motivate yourself. I mean, I sit here with Final Cut Pro open, and I'll start working on a video, and the minute I feel like I'm getting a little stuck or whatever, I immediately rip open, YouTube. Or I'll go to Discord and I'll head over to the content creator and I'll start watching the videos, maybe to motivate myself, maybe to get do something. And then you'll get caught off to the point where you're like, now you've completely didn't make your video anymore. And it's like,
you were watching other content. That happens to me all the time.
Yeah. So that is the one thing hard about everybody now becoming a content creator. Everybody wants to be everybody seems again wanting to pick up a phone and content create, which is great. But for viewing, not everybody can view everybody anymore. You can't view people anymore because now everyone's always busy. Like, well, I was busy shooting my video. I couldn't watch you. I get that comment a lot from people now. Sorry, I missed your live. I was making my own video.
Yeah,
happens all the time.
I stayed in your
live. This is my main editing day.
About an hour and a half or so, and then I had to leave to go work on a video. So
yeah,
so
it's understandable.
Yeah, I've done it before. I've had you in the background, and then I just don't do my video. I've also had to stop going into the Discord chat when I'm editing as well because I'll get chatting with people.
I won't touch Discord while I'm editing.
Exactly. And these are the things
you guys
that
even you'll pop into my live sometimes when I'm opening up cards and stuff, and you'll say hi, and then I'll see that you'll disappear for a bit, but then you'll come back in and you'll say hi. So that's super appreciative.
I try to pop in
and jump in, say hey or whatnot. I really appreciate that personally.
Yeah, it's again, it's one of those things where it's a fine line of like, how do you stick to making your content? And if we're going to be to that level where we're going to be putting up, like I said, memberships, it really is going to cut your content watching ability out. So, because here's the thing, I watch tons. I watch YouTube almost daily. I don't watch TV. I watch pretty much only YouTube. So I am not going to immerse myself 24/7 watching MetaZoo content. It's just not going to happen. So I'm watching. I want to watch other things. So I use that time to watch, you know, my surfing videos or my hockey videos or you know, like I've been on this kick watching this piano player and violinist who beatbox. I've been binge watching their videos for like the past 4 days now. Not that I want to. YouTube just kind of forced it on me with the algorithm, but I'm watching
about space videos, man. If I'm not watching anything on a MetaZoo, it's probably something about space or about distance.
I wanted to be
like that. Like
I wanted to be a seismologist. That was what my dream was to grow up. I wanted to cover earthquakes. So I watch the amount of earthquake videos I watch is insane. If you guys looked at my stuff, do you think I might have a problem? I mean, I watch a lot of videos about the continental plates and the core and a lot of things like that. I'm real big into earthquake seismic activity, and my feed is full Dutch Sense, who covers a lot of the earthquakes, and it's full of that stuff. So but I do watch a fair amount of MetaZoo. It's just I can't watch it 24/7. But again, you got to sit down. When I sit on this computer, it's like I'm sorry, man. I know everybody in the chat is a content creator now. How do I help support all these awesome people? And it's like, you know, you just got to come to the conclusion that you can't do it. That's ultimately my point.
You can. I mean, yeah, like of course, do it when you can. But if you got work to do, get your work done. I mean, and that goes for pretty much almost anything.
Because I'm saying this because I've seen comments of people like, well, they don't watch my stuff. They don't do this. They don't do that. And it's like, yeah, I mean, you got to understand. I mean, at this point, we're all becoming content creators. It's like, who's going to be left to watch the content if we're all content creating? So you're vying for almost a different audience to a big degree, which is, you know, again, it's one of the things that we're all doing because everybody's vying for an audience at this point. You know, everybody.
Well, that's because the audience is endless. Because I mean, I'll tell you what. Now, I'm
hundreds of millions of people
about this. The actual number of people who are interested in MetaZoo has exponentially grown, and it's been amazing being able to watch this specifically from New York Comic Con till now. Like, it's kind of crazy to me how much it actually I feel like the base has actually grown in the last like 3 or 4 months because of the exposure I think they had at the con.
At New York?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I got a pretty decent
ever since that, I've seen a huge turning point ever since New York Comic Con.
Oh, hands
my
down.
Watch hours went way up around that time too. That's actually probably what put me over the threshold.
Hands down, they saw huge. Yeah. I spoke to so many people that didn't know what MetaZoo was. I gave packs to so many people. It was crazy. Yeah, there was a lot of people.
Just for the simple fact that when I went to Mothman Festival, I'll be honest, not that many people, vendors, things like that, had heard of MetaZoo. It was the complete opposite though at CryptidCon. Like the complete opposite at CryptidCon. Almost every single one of those vendors knew about MetaZoo. Most of them
the backyard.
actually were collectors.
You're in the backyard at that point. Yeah, I mean,
well, no, I'm just saying,
you're
like,
with
even
the people.
Mothman Festival, though, like most of the vendors and such didn't really know that much about MetaZoo, so it was just a huge distinction. It was a huge change, in my opinion.
Interesting. Haspar says he heard from a ton of people that New York City was the largest, that MetaZoo stole the show. As someone who was there for every day, pretty much for every minute, so. You know, they definitely hands down were freaking huge. I mean, it was big. They literally it was based on the fact that they had it spread out through the entire day. So at 10 o'clock, they started spoiler packs. At 11 o'clock, seance packs. 12 o'clock, I don't remember what 12 was.
Yeah,
it was something. It was
smart how they had it broken down. Like
1 o'clock was Mike Waddell. Andy signatures, and then it skipped to 4 o'clock. We went to the Invasion Toys, and so it was spread out that way. So you had lines the whole time, simply because once everyone got their spoiler pack, they all jumped in and started the line for the Sans pack. But I mean, they had plenty. We gave away plenty. There was no really need for anyone to think they were going to miss out, but But they did get a little tougher on Saturday because Saturday was so unbelievably packed. It was insanity on Saturday. We all knew it was going to be, but wow, it was insane. And they did make people, like, if you didn't go on the scavenger hunt, passports was 12 o'clock. So once you got your passports, you had 1 hour to complete the scavenger hunt. And the scavenger hunt, hey, good night, EpicTubeHD. The scavenger hunt was where you would run around and get the 6 stamps from the partners that had booths there. PSA and CGC, right? eBay, Pin Club. So there were people, though, I guess didn't realize that you were on a time frame. So they would come back like at 3 and 4 o'clock to get their promo card. And Ted was very adamant, like, nope, you missed it. Got to come back tomorrow. And then people were like, I'm leaving tonight. We're not gonna be here tomorrow. So I'm sorry. And they kept it a hard cutoff. So, but New York City Comic Con was definitely hands down. It was insanity, man. One Piece was probably the biggest thing there, but
the One Piece statue actually at there looked amazing.
It was definitely tops for sure.
All right, so this hour-long interview has turned into almost 3 hours now. So I just want to open up real quick what your closing thoughts. Tell us who you are, what you do, just for the end of the plug, and we'll wrap it up from there.
So once again, everybody, I am Harley with EpicTubeHD. We are a YouTube channel and social media, pretty much all platforms we cover. And mainly we cover MetaZoo. I still open Pokemon, even though people haven't seen it in a long, long time now. And I do tap into a few other things here and there. Other than that, that's pretty much it. You can check us on YouTube, you can Instagram, all the fun stuff. I just started today pushing Facebook. A friend of mine got me to finally start doing Facebook. So I started loading all my stuff up on Facebook Reels. And I'm going to start pushing Facebook a bit more. I haven't had very much success with TikTok, but I do post on TikTok. Other than that, full length videos, short videos. Right now, it's currently short format mainly. I will be getting up more longer form videos, and that's pretty much it.
I definitely have a link to your channel in the description of this. So definitely, if you are not a subscriber of EpicTubeHD, you definitely need to go and subscribe right now.
Appreciate it.
And
I'm definitely tired.
All of your socials are all the same thing as well too. I believe EpicTubeHD.
I snagged the name.
Anything you wanna add, Ian?
No, I'm good.
All right, cool. Yeah, no, it's almost 1 o'clock here on the East Coast.
I just want to say again, thanks to Rob and Ian for inviting me on their show. I greatly appreciate it. I'm even though I have not contributed. Oh wait, what? even though I haven't contributed to the MetaZoo archives in months, I feel terrible. I'm still happy to be a part of it. I think I am.
You absolutely should.
And yeah,
you did an article.
One.
I've got like three articles up there. I got like 3.
No worries. It's good. Cutthroat Pie is carrying us right now.
Yeah, we're all at Cutthroat Pie's back right now. He's riding us, or we're riding him. But no, I just want to say thank you to you guys, man. I appreciate it. And again, I know, right? I know. But thank you guys again. Again, we talk. I know we talk off, privately and things like that about a lot of stuff. So it's definitely been helpful to have you guys there when I'm, going through my stuff, and I'm happy to always be there for you guys when you're going through your stuff. So, but thanks again. I appreciate it. It was fun.
Nah, man. Thank you for actually joining us here. Like I said, I wanted to make sure people actually got to know you. And yes, MetaZoo and you, but more just you, a little bit more about like your past, what you've done, things like that. And I've definitely learned. I had, like I said, we got to talk more about your stuff that you've done with film, because I want to see some of the. You got to send me some of those pictures. But thank you, Ian, for also hanging out and chatting and talking and throwing some
you
curveball
guys-
questions at him.
You didn't really need me here. That whole hour and a half in the beginning was just actors talking, and I'm sitting here like, I have no
I know.
experience.
You know what I'm saying? I could talk forever about the film industry, acting, all that fun stuff. I'm really passionate about it. So, yeah. Real quick, one last thing. I gotta say, I forgot MetaZoo Dean. He was my last guest on my show, and he was freaking fantastic. So, big shout out to MetaZoo Dean and the whole MetaZoo Nation team. Those guys are absolutely great. Forgot to say that. I want to make sure I mentioned that. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no, hands down. I got the opportunity to actually be interviewed by Dean a week or so ago, and I kid you not, that conversation was so much fun. Like, it is worth waking up at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time to talk to the Australians, because the Australians are amazing people. I do want to actually end the stream though. I do want to shout out actually. Make sure that you're following any of my socials. The Casters and Cryptids is actually going to be happening next Sunday. It's a two-day event for that. It's Sunday and Monday. Sunday it starts at 9:30. Monday it starts at 10:30. And that is Ian, myself, Dad Hat, Bats from Caster Society, both of the Meta Bros, Moldy Potions, and Meta Cracks, playing our version of the MetaZoo tabletop game that the guy that I work with, Dudley's Den of Games is what he's calling himself. That's what he's helped me develop over the last couple months or so. So definitely want to stick around and check that out next weekend, because like I said, if you like D&D and you like MetaZoo, you're gonna lose your minds when you actually see this, because I can't even begin to tell you how amazing it is. But special thanks to all of Harley's various cats for making special appearances. Every single one of them probably went through this past the screen today. But yeah, Harley,
just two. That was just two of them.
Oh, that was only two. It was just multiple times.
Two of them.
Oh God. But Harley, again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for everything that you do for the MetaZoo community. Thank you for everything you've done for me personally. Thanks for actually being someone who, when I first actually was introduced, like when Ian introduced me to the community with that question, you were actually somebody who immediately helped me and answered questions and stuff. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I really appreciate everything
Definitely
you've done for me and what you've done for the community, because you cover the events like no one else. I will say that straight up. Like the videos that you make, the editing that you actually are capable of, you make content like nobody else. So the MetaZoo community is very, very fortunate to have you as part of it. So thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
The way that I describe Harley's videos to people that don't know Harley is their experience videos. You get the experience of being at the convention, being at the shows, the events, Salem, whatever, right? It's not just covering the MetaZoo stuff, but everything going on. It's amazing.
I could have said it any better. Well, nice.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. It's always the goal.
Until Sunday, I hope you all have a wonderful week.
Sorry.
And
my wife just messaged me. Are you okay?
See, that's the beauty of using my phone. I can't actually see if my wife messages me until I'm done. But yes, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Thank you all for sticking around and making this an actual thing. Let's talk MetaZoo, and we'll talk MetaZoo next week. Well, technically, we'll be talking Casters and Cryptids next week. The week after, though, if everything goes as planned, I believe we are actually going to have Dee the Storyteller on as well, the week leading up to the Water Tower. So that is going to be amazing, because she's one of my favorite people in the community. But on the behalf of everything, I don't know. I don't know how to end it. I'm so bad at ending. I don't know. I love you all. You're an amazing community. And until the next one. Later.
Have a good night.
Peace. Good night.